Howdy, y'all. Welcome to Liberty Libations number 79. There's that sound you love to hear. Cheers to all of my panelists. I don't know, co-hosts. What do we call y'all? Regulars?
Fellow alcoholics. I don't know yet.
No one wants to be colleagues with me. So no, colleagues won't work. No one wants to do that with me. So let's see. All right. I'm Jake Green, joined as usual by Zane Placie, Stephen Hilton, and Alden Hardee. Zane, you have a martini glass there. What are you drinking?
I've got a very nice espresso martini here.
Oh, yeah. Those are awesome, man. Shaken or stirred?
Shaken.
All right.
Which I actually heard James Bond, when he makes that request, is actually being a bit of a pansy, because when you shake it, more of the ice melts into the drink. Whereas if it's stirred, it actually stays stronger.
So he's actually doing the opposite. He's trying to keep his wits about him so that he won't get drunk. That's why.
But if you drink the whole drink, then it's the same amount of alcohol, so it doesn't matter.
I don't.
It just tastes stronger.
Alden, that doesn't make any sense.
He also mixes half. The Vesper is like half vodka and half gin. Pick one. No, like that's super weird to me. I only do that if I'm running out of gin. But
fair enough. Steven, are you drinking some homebrew right now?
Yeah, so I got a little bit of the homebrew strawberry blonde here, and then repping the IPAs all the way from Atlanta to Savannah. Okay. Going bananas on the IPAs.
Sweet. Alden, what are you drinking?
I've got some of my birthday scotch, the Lafroig Select, and I just poured a very full Guinness.
Yeah.
Is the audio messing up for y'all, or is it just me?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Good here.
Oh my gosh.
All good.
All right.
It's just you.
Maybe try not moving to the middle of nowhere, Montana next time.
Y'all shut your mouths. I'm going to refresh the screen on my side, so I'm going to disappear. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I blame Montana.
That's easy.
We were so unprepared for Jake leaving that we have literally nothing to talk about while he's gone.
Right. So have you guys seen Angela McArdle doing her podcast tour? Running damage control, I guess, or not really damage control, but actually making some political moves out of all the chaos that came after the convention.
No, I've been under my house rock lately.
Gotcha. I didn't see her live stream that she did. She went on Spaces and did something, but she was also on Austin Peterson's Wake Up America show. And of course, he got her for 16 minutes. And you know what he loves to do to libertarians specifically is to ask them risque questions. So they'll give, kind of bait them into giving crappy answers and get themselves in trouble.
Oh, okay.
And she was not taking the bait. She's like, look, I'm not dressing down my candidate on your show or any public space ever. Mm-hmm. Not happening. No, I'm not doing that. She's like, I'm not even going to sit here and quote what other people are saying about the guy negative because he's our candidate and it's my job to support him. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, there you go.
That's good solidarity.
Yeah, exactly.
I appreciate that.
So he was trying to get her to say that basically that the chase was planted in there so we can help Trump get elected, and then she's like, that's not the delegates did what the delegates did. It was basically the will of the people. She doesn't have any control over that.
Yeah, why would she?
And then she's like, but. We'll see how it shakes out, but all the pollsters are already saying that, he's more attractive to disenfranchised Biden voters than the MAGA crowd. Mm-hmm. So she's like, he's naturally going to pull more votes away from Biden, especially in blue states.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, and again, she can't help any of that. So I don't like people that try to ask questions that are frank.
She might have a little pull, because she's from LA, so she might have some pull in California, depending on how plugged in she is there. And I'm sure she's got some allies all over the country by now. But again, could she orchestrate Trump taking over Biden? I don't think we're that big.
I don't even think that's anyone's goal in the party anyway. Like,
well, and then you also have these outliers. You got the Jill Stein and the RFK. They're pulling the independent vote hard. Any independent voters that are on the fence, they're independent because they don't like Biden or Trump.
mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a toss up. RFK is going to take some away from Chase, but Chase might take some of the MAGA crowd, but people that are voting Libertarian for the first time this year are either they just turned 18 or they're voting for the first time,
right?
Or they're sick of Biden, and they like Chase's compassionate liberty message.
Mm-hmm.
What was really interesting to me was I was witnessing the entire right-wing media apparatus just immediately start attacking Chase right after convention, which I think is actually a good sign in terms of the relevance of the Libertarian Party.
Oh, you're over
which
the
is most
then,
of the time we'd be so irrelevant that they wouldn't even bother to mention who our candidate is. And the fact that you've got like Matt Walsh and Tim Pool and all those guys out there putting in the effort to say, oh, Chase is a terrible candidate because of X, Y, and Z. You shouldn't vote for him. I guess we're at least now on their radar as, the Libertarian is not somebody that all of these Republicans want their people voting for. So that was interesting to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Nice.
Welcome
Well,
back,
I'm back. Y'all
He's
can
back.
stop talking about nonsense now. The person
We're
that's in
talking about
charge is here.
McCardle and party politics.
That's great. I started listening to McCardle on Michael Malice today. I got about a quarter of the way in. She's so good. I love Angela.
We don't deserve her, man. She's got such savvy. I was just telling the fellas that she was on Austin Peterson's show, and he was trying to bait her into saying Chase was just a mechanism to get Trump reelected, and she's like, "Look, I'm not." And he was trying to bring up like what Dave Smith was saying about him and what Rechtenwald was saying about him, and she's like, "I'm not dressing down my candidate on your show or any public platform. I'm not. It's my job to support our candidates."
Also, there's no way she could have orchestrated Chase getting elected.
Exactly.
If
She's
you
like,
think
I'm not
that
even
it's
going
possible to
to quote
orchestrate
people.
anything,
Yeah.
if you think it's possible to orchestrate anything at a Libertarian convention, you've never been to one.
Exactly. I mean, it's hard enough for the four of us to figure out, where the conversation goes, let alone adding 996 other libertarians into the mix. Like, it's
Right.
idiotic to think that could be the case. I mean, there are some folks that will just do what anybody tells them to do, just like there are with the Democrats and the Republicans and pretty much everybody on earth. But the majority of libertarians, if they see you're trying to get them to do something, they're going to do the opposite.
Right. And they're going to do it harder.
Yes. Yeah. And they're going to make you wish you had never approached them or joined the Libertarian Party or knew what libertarianism was.
Yeah. But apparently he impressed her so much. She's going to be a regular on his show now.
Oh, sweet. That's great.
Yeah.
Today's episode is brought to you by Rabbit Eye Wine, the blueberryest wine in all of Georgia. Go get yourself some. If you're in the state of Georgia, you can go pick it up in person. Otherwise, you have to order it. We're very happy that Rabbit Eye Wine is sponsoring this show.
So can we have a paid tier of this show where you get to listen to the entire show except for that bit?
Just except for the 15 to 30 seconds where I talk about Rabbit Eye Wine. Yeah, that's really rough for our viewers and listeners.
Well, and if you're within 20 miles of Atlanta, there's a package store in Smyrna. There's one in Marietta, and then down here on the south side you got Serenby or Serenby. How do you pronounce it?
Serenby. Yeah, that place is a creepy place. Have you been to Serenby?
No,
I did some of the survey work there when they were building the farm.
Dude, I went to a play there. They have like an outdoor theater. We got there at 10 in the morning on a Saturday, and there was no one in the town. It looks like a gated community kind of place, but it's just a town. It's tiny.
Have you ever been to Jacksonville, Florida?
Yeah.
One of the biggest
the
cities.
Navy was in. and so there was Navy people everywhere.
Well, that's if there's an event or something. But like you're describing my experience in Jacksonville anytime I go for a concert and I go outside and I'm just like, there's like nobody. It's weird. But I don't know how big Serenbe is, but
Yeah, Serenbe's tiny.
Okay, so more appropriate at least.
Well, but
It's
it was
like
the
it's
residents.
a few hundred acres.
Yeah, the residents.
That also includes like 200 houses.
Yeah, it was the strangest thing. Did you ever watch the show Wayward Pines? It was a little mini series a while ago. I mean, it was just the creepiest town I've ever been in. Don't go to Serenbe.
Don't go is the message.
Plus, the play was they did the Titanic. It was terrible.
The farmers marketplace is pretty good though.
Which one?
They've got a little farm up at the front of the neighborhood.
Okay.
And kids and stuff can intern there on the summers. And
well, look, it would have been cool. I made a whole video on it. It would have been cool if it wasn't so creepy. Like it was really cute, but man, it was creepy. It was just a weird vibe in that town. Oh yeah, Zach. Zach is not here to. I think it's 6:30. I guess 8:30 Eastern. The giveaway for Rabbit Eye Wine ends. So we'll figure out during the show who gets some bottles of wine.
Nice.
All right, y'all. Let's get into our first story. Zach is out tonight. He has babysitting duties, I think, and so I'll be doing the producing as well, which is annoying. All right,
but you do it well.
We're talking about Fauci. Here we go. Here's the first clip I have.
Once people feel empowered and protected legally, you are going to have schools, universities, and colleges are going to say, you want to come to this college, buddy? You're going to get vaccinated. Lady, you're going to get vaccinated. Yeah. Big corporations like Amazon and Facebook and all of those others are going to say, you want to work for us? You get vaccinated. And it's been proven that when you make it difficult for people in their lives, they lose their ideological bullshit.
That's exactly what you meant when you said making it hard for people to live without getting a vaccination. You affected people's ability to work, travel, be educated, to actually flourish in American society, to self-determine, as we're all given God-given rights.
Yeah, so aside from the fact that Rich McCormick has done some of the same garbage that Fauci has, he's right in saying this.
Yeah.
This is leaked audio from Fauci. I forget who he was talking to, but yeah, this is leaked audio of him making these statements. And I love hearing Fauci cuss because he never cusses on. He's always very put together on TV. Yeah. He's got the ridiculous tie, the dumb face.
The dumb face. Yeah, he's got to put on his dumb face.
Yeah. But he was grilled this past week, and the number of things that he admitted that he made up and that they did against the will of the American people, and just violating basic natural rights is wild. And how much stuff came out this week.
People like us that knew he's an asshole and didn't buy the bullshit were canceled and censored and shut down for saying anything otherwise, which is
I love that first
makes
comment.
you mad.
Some of us never gave up our ideological BS.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
I mean, could he have sounded more like an authoritarian than saying that? Like if we just degrade their morale until they just finally give in and do exactly what we want them to do. Like it sounds like we're hostages.
Yeah. Let's
just
wear
hit them with a stick and they'll comply.
Exactly.
Well, it's like in their mind, we pretty much are, because in their mind, your average person has no idea how to make decisions for themselves, and it's their job to make sure that everybody makes the correct decisions. And there's a group of people that will hear that audio and be like, yeah, I agree. People should be forced into making what I consider to be the correct decision.
Yeah, that's the real terrifying part. And it's because people don't think for themselves. We were just talking about. Yeah.
I had never heard that particular clip, the leaked audio, but it just came out. Oh, okay. It's the truth of what I knew was behind all of it anyway. You know, like there's people that need to hear these things to know. And I want these things to come out for those people so that they can look at this and be like, oh, okay, there's the evidence that I need. And then there's the people that knew all along. And I'm not saying that you're smarter or not smarter or whatever. It's just, sometimes it's a cultural thing. Sometimes you.
Yeah, you're right. And I think there are actually like 3 or 4 camps. One would be us, who didn't buy into any of it. And knew
from the
exactly
day
what
one.
was happening. One would be the people Zane was just talking about, the people who would agree with Fauci and want him to do this. And then the third is like, they believe what they're told unless proven otherwise, and at which point they will change their mind or at least reconsider.
And
which I think is a very small, a much smaller number than the other 2 camps.
And are there people among that camp that learn and eventually get ahead of the curve of that, or are they always need to hear it? Do you know what I mean? Like, can you grow out of that through a few
Can they
of these
learn
examples?
from their mistakes?
Yeah. Like a few times, like kind of the, you know, the fool me once thing, you know?
Yeah. I mean, how many people are doubting Thomas's? Like they get proof 3 times and each time they deny it, you know?
Hey, when Prince of
they're
Bibi
actually
gets out of
worse
jail,
than
he's going to
doubting
give me that
Thomas.
$10,000.
What's that, Steven?
I said, when Prince of Bibi gets out of jail, he's going to give me that $10,000.
Exactly. What'd you say, Zane?
It's actually worse than doubting Thomas, because at least Thomas has started to believe the first time that he got evidence.
Fair.
Yeah. And what was a little bit frustrating about all this happening now is that I think that there is a group of people for whom it's just too late. Like a lot of people on the left half of America, they're just not going to pay attention to this. And they're just going to assume forever that, you know, maybe some mistakes were made.
Right.
But
it was for the greater good. Or
Dr.
whatever.
Fauci was mostly correct, and we needed to do the lockdowns, regardless of how much stuff comes out or however much information is freely available. I think there are a lot of people that will just not change their mind because they will never think about it enough to change their mind about it. I think that this sort of thing is really helpful for, you know, maybe there is a sliver of people that honestly have not heard the overwhelming evidence against everything that was perpetrated by Dr. Fauci and friends, and maybe we can get to them. And I think that it is,
Fauci and
you know,
friends.
it is also just an encouraging moment that all these politicians find it in their interest to be grilling Fauci right now, because at least it means that that's what a large portion of the American population wants to hear. It's obviously extremely disappointing to watch all these Republicans come out now when everybody can go to work and everybody can go to church and can live their lives. It's like, where were you 3 years ago when this was still a live issue? Because all the
millions of dollars day trading 3M and Pfizer.
Yeah, exactly. I'd say 90% of the information that's coming out now at this hearing was publicly available 3 years ago, but it was only in the libertarian podcast sphere where anybody was talking about it.
Well, what's crazy, it wasn't just the libertarian podcast sphere, because I remember specifically Rogan had on 2 of the leading doctors during this time on this exact subject.
Peter McCullough and Robert Malone or something like that.
Malone, yeah. And like that's like 18 million people listening to that show. So like it was in the mainstream, but people chose.
Newsmax was talking about it. The Epic Times were talking about it. So it was, you know, it was in the conservative circles as well.
Yeah.
I feel like Joe Rogan is like mainstream adjacent.
Well, no,
when I think of mainstream,
I think it's the opposite now. So I think all the corporate press stuff, CNN, Fox, Rogan gets 10 times as many views as they do.
But is it still
all
when
the
you
shows
say
combined? Okay, all the shows combined at CNN don't make up the viewership that Joe Rogan gets on one episode.
Really?
You can combine CNN, MSNBC, ABC, and NBC, and it still doesn't equal Rogan.
Really?
So this is
Rogan is the Johnny Carson of our time, dude. It's ridiculous.
Yes. Yeah. This is why we started calling the mainstream media the corporate press rather than the mainstream media, because more people now listen to all these other people, and the most among them is Joe Rogan.
And we're in a culture of like two mainstreams anyway. Like no one can come to a consensus on what is mainstream even anyway.
We might be in like 325 million mainstreams.
Parallel mainstream universes or
like,
whatever.
Is anyone? I watched this thing the other day where a girl got watched a reel, on Instagram, and started just wanted to look through the comments.
Oh, I've seen this.
Sent the same reel to her boyfriend, and he saw completely different comments.
That's so funny. I was thinking of the same reel.
They're rating rating the comments now based on
what you watch.
Yes, based on what you believe and what you think and what you want to see.
Pandering and catering and trying to get you to get
the
deeper into a bubble.
The algorithm is really trying to screw you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'd appreciate that because whenever I see comments that I don't agree with and I think are stupid, then I just feel like I have to pause and mentally rebut them. Not even respond to the comment. Just spend a few minutes being angry that somebody thinks that. And maybe it's for the best that I just don't see that.
I've only responded to like 6 comments in my life. And one of them the other day had to do with a video about salting a steak. And I had to chime in.
You do it like that, right?
No,
like
my God, no. The salt thing.
Gold Bay is such a scam.
It is. But no, the guy was like, but the whole thing was like this guy's video. He was like, if you don't do this, you're an idiot. Like that type of energy. And like he probably was, just like wanting people to comment, and it worked. But like literally, I could count on 1 or 2 hands how many times I've responded, like actually commented on something.
I completely agree. The number of times where I've written out a paragraph response or a response in general is astronomical. I've written out responses 1 million times, and then I'm just like, this isn't worth it.
Yeah,
I just delete the response.
I've done that though.
One of the few times I've ever actually left a comment on anything was some kind of video about Social Security. I don't know exactly what it was. I know what it was. It was a list video of like famous Ponzi schemes. So I went into the comments to try and see if other people had left comments about Social Security being a Ponzi scheme, which it is.
Yep.
And a bunch of people had, and I was very proud of them. But then somebody else had responded to a comment of that saying, no, it's not a Ponzi scheme. It's a good system. And then I responded to that person with like 3 paragraphs explaining why it is a Ponzi scheme. And on top of that, it's highly immoral and the death of civilization.
And they just responded to you by saying you're gay and then moved on.
I don't think that they responded at all.
Smoke a bag of dicks.
Yeah. That's the traditional responses don't require a response after that.
Yeah.
One of my favorites is a guy from the 80s that he was selling copper engravings of the Great Emancipator, and people were sending him $20 in a mail order, and he'd mail them a penny.
That's pretty funny.
I mean, that's genius. If you're dumb enough to fall for that, get the specifications of the thing you're buying.
Yeah.
And then there was another guy one time that he was selling solar powered clothes dryers for $50. It was like $49.99, and he'd
string
a clothesline.
It's a clothesline. This reminds me of an old story that might just be urban myth at this point. My dad told me this when I was like a kid or something, but like a radio call-in, like you could win a Toyota, and it was like a toy Yoda or something. Like this is probably not even a real thing at this point, but it reminded me of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I will say the winner of the Fauci hearings was this guy in the background.
Emails, texts, letters, of myself, my wife, my 3 daughters. There have been credible death threats leading to the arrests of 2 individuals. And credible death threats means someone who clearly was on their way to kill me. And it's required my having protective services essentially all the time.
This reminds me of something
it is very troublesome to me. It is much more troublesome because they've involved my wife and my 3 daughters.
So first of all, I love that guy.
Yeah, that guy's
not
amazing.
Fauci, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
By contrast, did you guys hear that RFK was Jr. or whatever was denied protective services, and he's had multiple death threats as well.
So he asked for Secret Service protection about a year ago.
Is it that long?
He's asked, I think, every month since then, and they've
and
denied
he keeps
him
getting
every
denied by
single
Biden.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild.
It's probably for the best he doesn't have it because they'd probably just kill him.
I'm not saying it's would be helpful, but
it wouldn't be the Secret Service, you know.
Yeah.
Well, he's got to be pulling above 10% before the Democrat convention, and then he'll need about 4 million signatures for ballot access. Then we can talk about it, right?
I'll sign that signature.
But Fauci gets protection,
but
a presidential candidate doesn't,
Yeah, right. In case y'all didn't know, this guy was a January 6th protester.
Really?
That's awesome.
He may have been arrested. I can't remember if he was arrested, but he was
his mugshot like? That'd be hilarious, actually.
That would be pretty great. So yeah, I thought that guy did everybody a solid. Then
there was an old lady sitting in the back that she was really well visible from the cameras, and she was wearing a T-shirt that said "Jail Fauci."
Nice.
Yep, it was an older lady too, which is hysterical. Yeah,
yeah.
Hannah wants to see Steven's full shirt.
It's an early Father's Day present, but
Dad in the streets, Dad in the streets. Hannah, are you happy with that? I feel like you're not going to enjoy that shirt.
Oh man.
Okay, so just to remind everybody, Blair White tweeted out, people were assaulting each other in grocery stores over these rules. Families couldn't hold funerals. Children lost out on education and socialization during their developmental years. Fauci might not see jail, but if hell exists, he has a first-class ticket. This week, Fauci confessed he made up COVID rules, including 6 feet social distancing and masking kids, which
of course
we all already knew that. But the fact that he did admit it, I don't know if it doesn't make up for anything, but it definitely makes me feel just 1% better. 1% better about myself.
Just a scotch. I like Blair White, honestly. She's cool.
Yeah, Blair White's great.
Yeah.
She's a good follow on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. If you're into that.
She was not allowed to a Pride Fest recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Shocker. They eat their own.
Right.
They're a bunch of dum-dums.
I like how
what they say, if you're not a Democrat, you ain't gay.
Yes. Well, I mean, that's the same thing Milo went through, right?
Yep.
I mean, and then of course,
it's the same thing like black conservatives go through too.
Yeah,
like they're not black anymore. They're the face of white supremacy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Did y'all see one recently where Fauci was going around doing like a man on the street thing?
Yes. Where he's talking go to the house trying to get them to take the vaccine.
Yeah. And the guy's like, wait a second. So like, it ain't gonna protect me, and it might hurt me. No thanks.
Fauci's like, but it'll give you the best odds. And he's like, I don't need your odds. Get out.
Yeah. Matter of fact, you stay 6 feet away, buddy.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So, what are the odds now that you're 2 feet from me at my door now? Like, how did that help?
Yeah, that was pretty great. So there was a debate last week. I don't know if any of y'all watched it, but it was Dave Smith versus Chris Cuomo. And
I sent you a clip from it.
You did?
Yeah.
If you send me stuff the day of libations, I'm probably not gonna see it.
There was so much today.
It was early afternoon.
Yeah, no, once I schedule the episode, it's over.
Okay. So before what? Before Thursday, just Wednesday's cool, or
Wednesday? Generally, I can't post to Rumble until 8 p.m. the day before. So
you tell me a good time to send you shit, and I will.
Any time before 8 p.m.
This is boring.
Shut your mouth.
Manhole alert.
Oh my god.
Manhole alert.
Anyway,
Manhole.
That was one of our topics from a few weeks ago that lost us half our viewers in about 2 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. This is literally the best thing that came from that debate. Here we go.
But what these policies did do is they destroyed the lives of tens of millions of people. And by the way, Chris, this is why there's so much anger about this stuff, okay? This is why people are so furious and why people do kind of want to see somebody, because listen, I give you a lot of credit for doing this. Like, I really am grateful to you for being on this stage with me here. The thing about it is like, I think from my perspective, and I really do think I speak for millions of Americans when I say this, this is all we get. You. Like, there's no one else. Fauci's never going to do a debate like this. None of the other top establishment scientists will go. Well, hold on. But what these
he's basically saying that we're never going to get any type of resolution. We're never going to get closure. No one's ever going to go to jail. Nothing's ever going to be done about this. All we get is Dave Smith wrecking Chris Cuomo in a 3-hour long debate. It was satisfying. I gotta say, I watched the whole thing. It was delicious. Cuomo is a slippery little twat, but it was, he ended up dying halfway through the debate.
From the vax or something else.
Let's catch up on comments. Hannah says, glad we're all in this production meeting. Zach says, great team meeting.
Yeah.
Zach says, Zane is being a manhole.
Do you have a clip from that where he pulls up the clip of Cuomo talking about the dewormer and shaming Joe Rogan and all of that?
Is that the one you sent me?
That was what I sent you, yeah.
All right, y'all keep chatting about
hilarious
this,
that
I'll pull it up.
Yeah, so he's talking to Cuomo about it or whatever, and he's denying it right there. And he's like, do we have the clip? And they throw the clip up, and it literally, the juxtaposition, the back-to-back of Cuomo being there and denying it and then seeing it, and he still tries to, like, weasel out of it where he's like, oh, well, I was talking about the paste, not the pill, or whatever, like some kind of a, like, technicality thing, but...
Right, yeah, because that's all they were talking about was, like, horse paste. It's like...
Yeah.
Nobody's going to Tractor Supply to get this stuff anymore, dude.
I found it.
You took it off the
Tractor
shelves.
Supply, yeah.
I found it, Alden. Here you go.
I don't like that people did about ivermectin. I don't like
you
that.
did it.
No. No.
Yes, you did.
Find the clips.
But, dude, find the clips. You shamed Joe Rogan.
Find the
you
clips.
said he's taking horse dewormer. You and Don Lemon were chuckling at each other about it.
No.
I'll go find
First
the
of all,
clip.
you just saw the clips.
watched
I'm
it.
not chuckling. I'm listening to Don. But
No. The clip I'm talking about wasn't on there, and
Here's-
it's absolutely
look, we
there.
were
Here, do we have it? Hold on.
Boom.
Let's play the clip.
Injecting drugs for animals and horse.
and people telling them to. Oh my God. What person? You talk about cancel culture and who to shame. Ivermectin, a dewormer, really?
They are shaming themselves.
That's
No one
what it
has
is.
to shame them. They're shaming themselves.
So you're taking a dewormer right now.
This
Chris.
is
Chris,
a
you can't
dewormer.
apologize for that. You weren't being clear that it was
All
this,
right.
and you know that, dude. You're being so dishonest right now, man.
I'm not
You
being
were
dishonest.
talking about ivermectin, the drug. You were not talking about
I
this version of ivermectin.
By the way,
Dude, it is such a good watch. Like Chris Cuomo, what's hilarious is he literally said the exact opposite right before that clip. He didn't apologize for a single thing. And
He
it's
won't.
because he quoted Trump. And he said, Trump has the right attitude. Never apologize for anything because it just makes you come off as weak and a loser. And it's like, yeah, that might be the case for like the corporate press and people in that arena, but honest people like when people apologize for the things they mess up on. Like, I would respect Chris Cuomo far more if he would actually apologize for things that he did. As soon
I
as
have
Tucker
no respect
Carlson-
for Chris Cuomo.
No, none. As soon as Tucker Carlson apologized for his involvement in getting us all hyped about going to war in Iraq and Afghanistan and all that garbage, the amount of respect for him just skyrocketed in my book. Like,
I prefer it. I still have a hard time trusting him. I'll listen to him. I like that he has all kinds of people on his show, but he was so embedded and he was such a cog for so long a time that I still have a hard time just trust. I still don't trust him.
But my point is that like,
But I respect
you
that
can
more,
respect you can respect somebody without putting your entire faith in them.
That's what I'm saying. The distinction
I respect what Tucker does. I don't
respect
always,
yes. Yep. That choice to, because I've seen that bit where he talked about the culture of it too, or whatever, and like getting everyone kind of whipped up in the patriotic froth to go over there and, whatever, and flip over Saddam's house and look for bombs or whatever they did. But I don't know, man. He's still just such a hardcore Fox, like, just mechanism that he could just be playing the game now and trying to appeal to a different audience. And I just don't know. And I just can't ever, I don't trust anybody though. So whatever.
Yeah. You sound like Brad Binkley, who, when I was at the Libertarian Convention with Brad, every person who walks by and he's like, I think that's a Fed. I think that's Larry Sharp, definitely a Fed. Like this guy over here, Nick. Is that Nick? Yeah, he's definitely a Fed. Like all these people, Feds. Fed.
Wait,
Fed.
I might be a Fed. I'm a Fed. I'm a Fed here. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just sound like Brad Binkley, who I had to talk off a ledge with the Fed thing, because not everybody's a Fed, and some people can be trusted.
I trust like individuals in my own life that have earned my trust over a long time, but I have a hard time with anybody that's in a position of power, like talking heads and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key is to, the corporate press isn't going to like this, but maybe do your own research. Just confirm what they're saying is.
All right, wait a minute. Now I got to ask you if you saw another thing that I sent you, the comedy bit on the do your own research thing.
Oh, that's Jimmy Dore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen that a bunch of times. I've liked it every time it appears on my timeline. It's so good.
That's why they keep sending it back to you.
Yeah. They used to call it reading.
Yeah. I'm gonna buy a car. Don't look into it.
I know I've said this on the podcast before, but when kind of lefties criticize people for doing their own research, essentially claiming that people aren't qualified to look into anything for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that when people say do your own research, it means literally go out and conduct your own studies.
Yeah.
And what we mean by that is maybe go out and find other people that are legitimately expert, but aren't the few experts that the regime is pushing out on every, corporate media show.
Yeah.
That it turns out there's more doctors than just the CNN chief medical correspondent.
Yeah.
There are lots of other doctors too, and you might want to get their opinion.
Yeah.
Well, and you never see the 1 out of 10 dentists on TV that doesn't recommend Colgate.
Do you remember that Super Bowl commercial?
There we go.
Never mind.
This is according to Grumpy. Stevie's a Fed. So
yeah.
There we go.
There's proof.
Yep.
Yeah. No. This whole thing.
I was listening to nurses and doctors that were getting the ones that were pulled off of TikTok and YouTube. That was interesting to me early on, and like we were talking about before, you tell the libertarian not to do something, they're going to want to do it. You tell me I can't hear what that person is saying. Now I'm going to go follow them on whatever other platform, on Rumble or some shit, and hear what they're having to say. And all these fucking nurses were talking about, like, hey guys, this is a bad idea. Like I'm watching all the people like on ventilators, and it's like doing damage to their lungs and things because it's stressing them beyond a point that they should be able to breathe on their own. Blah blah blah. And hospitals were getting kickbacks for all the different people that they were putting on the respirator. So there was money involved, and there was all the doctors that were tying everything in, the more people that they had on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, those people early on, I'm talking like barely into the whole thing, I noticed were getting, pulled off of their accounts, were getting shadow banned, and their stuff is getting pulled down. And to me, that was a flag early on where I was like, wait, all right, there's very potentially at least some truth to this. I'm going to at least fill in the gaps and pursue this on my own. I'm not a nurse, but I'm listening to some,
I saw one guy, it was like April or May of 2020. And this guy he was an ER doctor in New York City. And he was like, these people have altitude sickness. I don't understand this protocol I'm having to put them on. Like, they're breathing on their own.
Mm-hmm.
But oxygen is not getting in their blood. He's like, that is not cause for a ventilator.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like, and then I ask questions, and I'm put on leave.
Yeah.
And
They're like,
I'm put
take a
under,
vacation.
administrative review.
Yeah.
It just makes you wonder what's going to happen the next time they find some excuse
Or make some excuse
to cause fear into.
Well, they have it. It's bird flu. It's happening right
they're,
now.
They're trying, man. That's not taking off. Every single time they come up with a case, so many people do their own research and find out that person died of like 10 other things that they had wrong with them.
They just use it as an excuse.
I'm not talking about it crossing the zoological barriers. I'm talking about they're going to scare farmers into slaughtering meat.
That's what I was just going to say. I was going to say into culling chickens and gouging the egg prices and shit.
Debbie Burks is wanting the meat cows, the meat cattle tested so often. They're trying to put the mRNA vaccines in the cattle. And so, what does that do when we have DNA altered beef on the shelves?
Yeah, we actually have a story tonight on vaccines in groceries.
Hey, spoiler alert! So,
we'll get to that. I would like to remind everybody, all those libertarians who are swayed by Trump's speech at the Libertarian Convention, who are now going to vote for Trump. I just want y'all to watch something real quick. This is Trump in 2020.
Why did you criticize Dr. Fauci? Does it have anything to do with his high standing?
Does he practice that look in the mirror in the morning?
Really, Dr. Fauci's a very nice man, but we let him do what he wants to do. He gets a lot of television. He loves being on television, and we let him do it. Sometimes those things are a little bit off, and they get built up, unfortunately, but he's a nice guy. I like him, but he's called a lot of bad calls. He said, don't wear a mask, and he said, don't ban China. They were bad calls. He admits that. And I don't hold that against him. If I did, I wouldn't have him. No, I think he's a nice guy. Huh? I don't want to. I don't want to hurt him. He's been there for about 350 years. I don't want to hurt him.
All right, that's actually pretty funny.
But isn't it funny how, like, during that moment, it was the moment where Fauci had said, don't wear masks, and then flip-flopped immediately after that. It said, you have to wear masks.
Right,
It was during the time when it was needed for first responders. They all
I remember that,
Yeah.
Which is funny because even in February 2020, Fauci published an article in a medical journal explaining why masks would be completely ineffective for something like COVID.
Did he really?
But then he forgot that he wrote that or something.
Oh my God, conveniently.
He didn't forget. Just no one goes and reads those papers, and the people who do have no standing in like public life.
He probably wrote it like a year or two prior, and then someone found it and like, oh, publish it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was, and then at the same time, like, again, with the things that are getting like, culled off of like social media or whatever, like if anyone had a video on how masks are only effective for certain things and like spit globules in a surgery, but not like the water molecules that are in the vapor in air, that was pulled off of social media. But then some stupid kid that was like put a mask on a shower head and was like, look, it works because it like because it, the water didn't go through the mask. Water itself and air are totally different. Water's polar. Of course it's going to fucking go out the sides of it. And then even if that made sense, then if you're equating water and air, then all the air is still coming out the damn sides anyway. What the fuck are we talking about? But that video was allowed to be on TikTok, but not all the other goddamn ones, even though that was stupid as fuck. Sorry. Coming off my soapbox.
No,
damn it.
We like a good soapbox on this show.
There we go.
We should actually legit have soapboxes where you just hold it up and it says soapbox.
What the fuck is a soapbox? I don't even know.
It used to come in boxes, before Amazon invented cardboard.
Like
those are boxes too, Steven. Cardboard boxes.
I'm talking about wood crates. Wood crates.
Oh, yeah. So in your soap crate,
apple box. What you're trying to say. Soap crate, yeah.
In ye olden times, before people had podcasts, people would occasionally just go to a public space, get on top of a box, and just start talking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like the guys now who go out there with their battery-powered speakers and a microphone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Basically the same thing. Talking about Christ is coming back. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with this. Tuck from.
That's a YouTube safe way to say it. Yeah.
There you go.
I like that way. All right. Anybody got anything else on Fauci tonight?
There was also that he was denying even asking for. He now is denying that he even asked for lockdowns. And then someone, of course, again posts. It's all too easy to post one of 100 clips of him saying that he is recommending lockdowns. And he's like, I would never say that. Like, how are all these people now just able to just go, no, I would never do that? Like Cuomo and Fauci. Fucking
and then people that want to let him off easy, just slap him on the wrist and have him do a mea culpa, whatever, because they don't believe the comparisons to Mengele. Don't forget, he did experiments where they took beagles, the dogs, and removed their voice boxes.
Oh,
so the other scientists in the lab couldn't hear them yelp, and then they were putting hookworms.
Yep. I watched a video of that today. It's
letting worms eat dogs' faces off just to see. I don't know what it was for, just to see how
just to see what happens.
Yeah, right. Well, it's like the old SS thing, right? They would have them raise a German Shepherd puppy for a year
and then kill it.
They had to do everything with it, and then all of a sudden he was like, "Okay, fine, cut its head off." Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they referenced that in the Kingsman movie.
So,
that's
Fauci,
what it was. Yes.
Yeah.
So Fauci has a 40-year history of doing this kind of crap to other scientists. That if they had dissenting opinions, if they had some kind of paper or other peer-reviewed study that disagreed with what he was bringing to the table, he would have your license pulled. He would have your funding pulled. He would make sure you never got published. He'd make sure you never got a university job ever again.
Yeah.
Just totally blacklist you. Judy Mikovits is one of these people because she found a correlation, not causation, obviously, but wrote a book about it. There was a retrovirus in some of the vaccines, and she was correlating that to chronic fatigue syndrome in women, and she had some scientific data that actually made a solid correlation. It wasn't proof, but he put her in jail. He had her license pulled. He put a gag order on her. He fined her. The fine that she had on her was so hard. She lost her house and she wound up going to jail because she violated the gag order when she wrote her book. But now she's out and she's on a warpath and she's just one of many. And then this guy's tied to the AIDS epidemic in the 80s as well.
Yeah. He honestly, all kinds of things. That's what RFK's book is about, that he wrote about Fauci and the whole AIDS thing, and that he skewed a bunch of data to get AIDS classified even differently so that his department got the funding for it in general, and he denied a bunch of other things to keep treatment from people. And dude, it's gnarly, man. He's an asshole, but
he is
definitely America loved him. I don't know.
America loved him, and Trump loved him.
He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
What can I say? I don't want to fire him. I don't want to hurt him.
He's been here for 350 years.
I mean, he really was like the longest serving federal employee.
He's like
other than the
Biden
the
or like
Klansman that was in Congress.
Yeah,
that's so crazy.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Let's see. I think it's trivia time. Get Zane up here in the driver's seat. Let me remove. Yeah, this is what happens when Zach's not here. I don't have all of the things ready.
Do I have time to grab more scotch?
Grab more scotch.
I'm going to grab scotch.
There we go. That'll be a welcome diversion.
Oh, great.
Do we have the scoreboard tonight?
I'm trying to get it all set up. I'm telling you, y'all, there's no good scoreboard application. It's absolutely infuriating. Let's see. Settings. Yes.
Hannah says that Jake better be on top of audience responses or I'm suing.
I don't like that threat. I don't like that threat at all. All right. Let me share the window of scoreboard so we can just throw that up from time to time. Yeah, there we go. We'll just throw that up in the end of every round. I guess I should get the audience on that sucker. There we go.
I love this sound. That's a beautiful
Brings me
sound.
so much joy. There we
Yeah.
go. Audience, sorry you don't start out with 3 points.
This reminds me when I get it on my hands. Remember that episode where Ron Swanson's got they go to that weird bar and they got the scotch like cologne or whatever, like
It was lotion. It was lotion.
or lotion. That's it. But he's like, I don't want that, and then he's like smelling it like all night.
All right, Zane, it's your show, man. Take over. I'll keep an eye on the audience.
All right. So just to remind everybody what the new format is, since I became large and in charge. Round 1, 8 points, 1 point each. Round 2, 6 questions, 2 points each. Round 3, 4 questions, 3 points each. Round 1 tonight will be television. Round 2 tonight is history. And as viewers of Jeopardy will know, round 3 is before and after.
Otherwise known as flaccid and hard.
No, not otherwise known as that. But I will explain that category when we get there.
Perfect.
But it's fun and exciting, I promise.
The tone of your voice really conveys that fun.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
excitement.
There we go. Let's get ready to win Zane Placey's money.
All right, here we go.
All right, round 1, television. Question 1. What 3 words make up the motto of Survivor? Alden.
Vote off island.
No.
3 words make up the motto of Survivor.
Brian doesn't get it, but he gave a funny answer. Outlive, outlast, and something.
He's got 1 out of the 3 words correct. And it's not something. Steven?
Improvise, adapt, and overcome.
No, that's Man versus Wild.
Is it really?
I've got a hint as soon as Jake gives an answer.
There's Hannah's answer.
Oh, audience has it.
There we go.
Outwit, outplay, outlast.
I would
All
never,
right.
ever have gotten that.
I guess I needed to have ever watched Survivor.
Exactly.
It would help, yeah.
I watched the real version alone.
Alone? Yeah. I knew it. It's so much better.
It's so much better.
All right. Question 2. Used by shows such as Saturday Night Live and The Office, what is the term for a scene at the very beginning of a program before the opening credits?
I should know this.
Prelude?
No. Steven?
An opener.
No.
It sounded better than mine. I don't
Jake?
Cold open.
It is a cold.
Oh,
open.
Yes.
Some quack
The
had
film major gets
Some quack
it,
got
yeah.
it too, and so did Hannah. Yeah, but that was an easy one.
All right.
I didn't know it.
Well, you didn't study television.
I didn't. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I literally did in
I
college.
lived with only film majors, but I also didn't study it myself.
Fair.
Question 3. An episode of what television show named Mr. Skinny Legs? So this is the name of the show. This is the name of the specific episode. So it's an episode of a show. Episode title is Mr. Skinny Legs. This episode was banned in Australia for instructing children that spiders can't hurt you. Steven.
That's because their spiders can.
What was that?
Mr. Rogers.
No. Jake.
Dora the Explorer.
No, but getting closer.
Alden.
I mean,
No, not
Bob the
Seinfeld.
Builder?
Not Bob the Builder. So your hint is... Oh, Steven.
Umba Macumba.
No.
No, give us a hint.
I got one more.
Steven screwed himself.
All right,
Yeah,
whatever.
All right, the hint is that it's a British children's television show. And in Britain, they don't have dangerous spiders. But
Right.
in Australia, they do. So you can't have children saying spiders aren't dangerous. Not Blue's
Britain.
Clues.
British tell.
I don't know.
Audience gets it again. It's Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig.
That's British?
Wow. I had no idea that was British.
Very British.
I have no idea what
So, like,
that
when
show is.
the fuck was Peppa Pig a thing? Because I don't know anything about it.
I know nothing about Peppa Pig.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, I was not watching.
It was within, the past 5 years or so.
Oh, that's so recent. Yeah,
So it's
I don't
pretty
know
recent.
about that. That is interesting in general, though, that like a whole continent that doesn't have like poisonous snakes and spiders, and then Australia's like, wait, nope, that's misinformation. That's bad. Like,
Yeah.
that's hilarious because everything will kill you there. Do we talk about the tree that can kill you there? Never mind. It's crazy.
Oh, what about the one in South Florida?
No, we're not going on this tangent. Shut your mouth.
I know the one that you're talking about, Stephen, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, question 4. Pictured here is the sheriff of what town? Jake.
I just forgot. Fansville.
Fansville, my favorite commercial.
Good one. That was a Super Bowl commercial, right?
That's a long running college football commercial series.
Is that wait? Go back to that image. I feel like I know the actor.
Yeah, the actor's not famous.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah, it's the Dr. Pepper.
Oh, it looked like the
commercials.
guy from The Right Stuff or whatever, but maybe not.
I don't know what the right stuff is.
Yeah.
You
You don't
the
have
wrong
it, you know.
stuff. You have
You
the
don't have
wrong
it.
stuff. Shut
We
your
all
mouth.
know. We know.
Hannah, I got it before you. I just want to say that I win, you lose.
Yeah, but I like Hannah better.
Yeah, fair.
Don't we all?
I'll take the victory over the like. Oh yeah, did y'all hear this? Dr. Pepper became the #2 soda in America.
Under what?
Coke.
Okay.
So did they pass Pepsi?
They passed Pepsi. They've had the title since 1985.
Pepsi's like number 17 or something.
Pepsi is garbage.
I agree 100%. It's terrible.
Dr. Pepper's so good.
It's flat brown syrup sludge. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's what the Coke factory shits out.
Yeah, it's their byproduct.
Well, Dr. Pepper is just barbecue Sprite.
I actually kind of like Dr. Pepper, honestly.
I love Dr. Pepper. All right, let's go.
Moving on, sorry.
Question 5. What actor has received 14 Emmy nominations for his work on Cheers and The Good Place? Steven.
Oh gosh, it was he was Sam in Cheers. Alan. It's not Alan Thicke, is it?
No. Jake.
Ted Danson.
Ted.
Yeah.
Oh.
I never. Growing Pains guy. I always screw those two up.
I never watched either. But I've seen
Zach,
the thumbnail.
Zach almost got it right. Ted Dance.
Ted Dance.
Question 6. The following image is from one of Giorgio Tsoukalos' many appearances on what program?
Oh no!
Ancient Aliens.
Damn it!
Ancient Aliens.
So good.
I know that guy. All right. That's like the only thing so far that I've known.
Ted Dance is the father of
Good
Ted
job,
Danson,
Steven.
just so y'all know. Dance and Dance son. That's hilarious. Brian, bravo. I love it.
Brian, oh my god.
Yeah, that was quality.
Oh, that killed me. Sorry. Oh, Jesus.
Question 7. Pacific Princess was the setting of what ABC television series airing between 1977 and 1986?
What? Say what?
What was?
Pacific Princess was the setting of what ABC television series? Alden.
Love Boat?
The
Dadgummit,
Love Boat.
that was gonna
Is
be
it
my guess.
for real? Oh my god.
Good job, dude.
I get the
Bravo,
one
man.
from before I was born.
Some quack got it right after you. That's crazy.
Dang.
Man.
That was a guess on my part, honestly.
The other guess I would have had was Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, but that's what's the minnow? That's a whole different.
That's right.
I know
it was
the minnow, yeah.
Yeah, the minnow. That's what it was. Yeah.
Question 8. And this is I've got some audio for this question, so hopefully this works.
Turning
I
up
love
the volume.
Zane. This is great.
I love my multimedia. All right.
I love it.
Name this fart.
Okay. This theme tune is the opening for what show? Alden?
NFL Sunday.
No.
I know.
Not Kim Possible.
That's not
whatever that is.
No.
XY. So like the
Kyle
chromosomes of a
Yeah.
male. Is that what that's about?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hannah just does rapid fire in the comments. It's not Family Matters either.
Family.
Would it
Everyone
help?
knows family doesn't matter.
Would it help if I played it again?
No.
I don't know.
No.
It's competing with the.
Yeah, hang on. Let's just go to silence for a second.
It's
All right.
Jessica by the Allman Brothers is the name of the song.
But as a show, you're right though. It is Allman Brothers.
Not
Is
when
it really?
was Power Rangers.
No. Okay. I was like, I don't remember that.
I'm so disappointed in all of you.
I
I thought
recognize
this
it.
question would be too easy. Steven?
Murder, She Wrote.
No.
What year was this show? Like what decade?
Yeah,
it
what
was
decade?
2000s and 2010s. And it's actually another British show
I-
that I'm sure you all have heard of.
I haven't watched TV since I was 9, so like I don't know.
Jake?
The Office.
No.
Okay.
And the all right, last hint is that the people that were the main cast on this show left that show to create a different show on Amazon that's pretty much the same. Not any of that.
Yeah, it's not Sherlock. It's not Doctor
Steven?
Who.
Teen Wolf?
No. All right, nobody gets this. It's Top Gear.
Top Gear, dadgummit.
That's the song from Top Gear?
Man. It's crazy because like with Amazon now you can and all the streaming services you can skip the theme song. So I've forgotten half the theme songs I used
Oh.
to hear. Man, all right. Well, yeah, after one round, I'm winning. So suck it. Audience has
Nice.
2, and Alden and Steven have 1 apiece. There you go.
I'm mad I didn't get Ancient Aliens. That's my only gripe.
That's not jam.
Yeah, I know. I should have got it.
Round 2 is history, 2 points each.
There we
Question
go.
1. What was the 14th state to join the Union? It declared independence from Britain in 1777 and operated as an independent republic until 1791. Alden?
Alabama.
No. Steven?
Ohio.
No. Jake?
Maine.
No. So the militia of this state at the time was called the Green Mountain Boys, and the Green Mountain State is still a nickname of this. Alden?
Michigan?
No. Jake?
West
If it's-
Virginia.
No.
If it's Green Mountain.
Not New
it's-
Hampshire.
Ooh.
Steven, did you want to go again?
Oh, is he guy?
Green Mountain. Not yet. Nope.
Alden?
Vermont?
Vermont.
Yeah. It's not Florida.
Okay.
Vermont. I was so close.
You were close. When you said New Hampshire, that's what triggered. And I was like, ooh, Green
I
Mountain.
I said Maine.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
I said Maine and West Virginia.
I used to live in New Hampshire when I was a kid.
I assumed it was on the border with Canada because that would make
Well, that
the
would
most
be
sense.
right.
Yeah. So I was trying to guess up there. And then you said Green Mountain, and I was like, oh, it sounds like a hillbilly thing.
I still think it's Alabama. But
Okay. All those mountains in Alabama.
There's
There
you know,
are
there's the
mountains in
most
Alabama.
caves in
Hey,
Alabama.
hey, yeah. Okay, so the opposite of mountains. Good job.
Yeah. there's
Well, you know,
Anti-mountains.
when they make all those mountains, they had to get the rocks from somewhere. All right, question 2. Who is being shot in this photograph? Alden.
Oh my God, I said his name earlier today. JFK, Patsy, Oswald.
It's Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah. There we go. Alden is now in the lead. So
You talked about him earlier today?
I literally was thinking of it earlier today, but I'm thinking of either 9/11 or JFK most days. So
Okay, yeah. And the Holy Roman Empire, right?
yeah.
wow,
I mean,
Hannah shares
literally,
a birthday with Lee Harvey Oswald.
no way, really? That's kind of weird. Literally, Haley was like, we were talking to our friends, and she was like, we were all saying like, what's our like Holy Roman Empire kind of a thing, and she's like, I didn't even get to answer. She was like, yours is 9/11. Like, she answered for me. She's like, I don't even want to hear it. Yours is 9/11. It's the thing you talk about the most. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
yeah, it is. It's that and Scotch, but
Question 3. The only 2 emperors of what country were both named Pedro? Steven.
Mexico.
No. Alden.
Spain.
No.
Damn it.
Oh,
Jake, did you?
Portugal.
No. But your hint is that this country gained independence from Portugal, not Peru. Audience gets it. It's
Oh, man, that was the guess. That was my guess.
Yeah.
When it was gained from Portugal, I was like, what speaks Portuguese? It's like, it's Brazil. Like,
It's
that's all I
Brazil.
know anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good job, audience.
Question 4. The bombing of Guernica during what war led Pablo Picasso to paint a namesake anti-war work? Alden.
World War One.
No.
Damn.
Steven.
The Napoleonic Wars?
No.
Can you repeat the question?
The bombing of Guernica during what war led Pablo Picasso to paint a namesake anti-war work?
I know
It's
the
not
painting.
World War II. And it's not the War of 1812. Jake, do you have anything?
No. Move on.
All right. Alden.
Spanish-American War.
No. Steven.
The Franco-Prussian War.
No. Not
World War
the
III.
Korean War. Not the Falklands War. It was a war just before World War II,
World
but
War
not
One.
part of World War II, and not World War One.
I'm out. I have no idea.
Steven,
I may be way wrong, but War of the Roses.
that is the most wrong answer that has been provided so far.
There we go. I'm just naming wars now.
You get an award for most wrong. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
All right, nobody is getting this. It is the Spanish Civil War.
That's what I said.
Dadgummit.
No, you said the
I
Spanish
think
American
Zach got it
War.
right. World 1.5.
Honestly, that's the closest thing
Give
that
it to
somebody
him.
said.
Give it to him.
I think audience gets it
Mitchell got it.
Oh,
I
did Mitch say that before I revealed?
before you revealed it.
I
Yeah.
say give it to him. Audience is going to win this time, honestly.
Audience is winning right now.
I'll bet.
Question 5. In what city would you find the only former royal palace on American soil? Alden.
Richmond?
No. Jake.
Jamestown?
No.
I started a whole Virginia thing.
Oh, they just made sense. That was one of the first settlements.
I went old, like, yeah.
Audience
Honolulu.
gets it.
Oh my God, is that right? Oh, I
It's-
didn't even think about this.
Wow.
Royal,
I did not
okay.
think hard enough about that. Yeah.
Wow.
Good job, Hannah.
I was like, is there something that I like don't even know about that was established here? That's why I went Virginia.
yeah.
Honolulu, I didn't even think about that.
That makes the most sense. for
Very
sure.
clever. It does make the most sense because it's right. So by that logic, it does make the most sense.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Okay, Alden's out. We can't have him on the show anymore.
All right, question 6. Wednesday is named for what mythological figure? Jake.
Odin?
Odin.
Is it really? Nice.
I don't know how you get Wednesday from that, but I guess
Yeah,
somebody did.
How did you arrive at this, Jake? Did you know this before, or did you?
So I've definitely heard that before, but I couldn't remember. All the comments are Wednesday.
Well, because it was.
That makes more sense.
Yeah,
like,
Brian, I was thinking about Jennifer Ortega. I was like, wait a second, what is she named? But
like the etymology of it, like, is not a
Odin's
help
Day.
here. Like,
Yeah, it's Odin's Day. Yeah,
oh,
Odin's
is that
Day.
why Wednesday is such a stupid like Wednesday? Like it's spelled so weird. Like,
Oh,
'cause
it's idiotic. It makes no sense. I mean,
You
half
can
the
blame
English
Wednesday.
language makes no sense.
that's fair.
All right, I'm back in it, y'all.
You're in it.
Hang on. We got to go. Audience has 8. Jake and Alden have 5, and Steven has 1. Steven's
Jake and Alden, the third person.
All right. So this is
Blasted
one of
and
my
hard.
favorite categories. And the idea here is that each question has 2 answers, but the last part of the first answer overlaps with the first part of the second answer.
I am too many scotches in for that.
Wait.
So there will be a word or part of a word that overlap the 2 answers. So like if I
got you. No, you can explain it for everybody else because I thought.
Can we have an example? Can you
So,
use
like,
it in a sentence?
So, like, if I asked a question where one of the answers was, like, Donald Duck, and the second answer was Duck Boat, then there would be, like, half the question that would lead you to Donald Duck and half that would lead you to Duck Boat, and then the answer would be Donald Duck Boat.
Donald Duck Dynasty. Got it. Okay.
There we go. I'm going to fail so hard at this one.
I should not have got more scotch for this round.
I have faith in you guys. You can do
You
it.
shouldn't. You shouldn't.
He's the only one here, I think. Yeah. I'm going to give this one to the audience. I'm just going to say they're going to win.
All right. Question 1. A popular brand of ranch dressing is served at the 1777 winter encampment of the Continental Army. Alden.
Hidden Valley.
You need more. I need more.
Hidden Valley Ranch? Hidden Valley
No.
Valley Ranch.
You're missing. You need the second part of the answer.
I don't get this.
Okay, Jake.
Hidden Valley Forge.
Hidden Valley Forge.
Oh.
Valley Forge is the second part of the question, Alden. You did. You tried to answer the first part and not the second part.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
You got to wait till the whole question
I'm
gets
too
asked.
poor to pay attention. And I'm too drunk also.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
Yep.
All right. Question 2.
Okay,
In
hey,
an earnest-
let's pause. Let's pause for a second. Let me clarify something to the audience. If I have raised my hand before y'all have answered the question, I get the question. I get to answer before you do. Okay?
Yeah.
That's how
you
this
established. Yeah, priority. Yeah.
And no,
Is the audience rebelling?
I'm not a cheater. I'm not a cheater. Grumpy. Yeah, the
I
audience
am
is
in
rebelling.
a fantasy football league with Jake, and there are many times where I've beat him out by like $1 on a bid for someone that I know if he were cheating, he would have edged me out by $1. So I can say I trust Jake.
There we go. Not
I
a
don't
cheater.
trust anyone else in government, but I trust Jake.
Perfect. That's great. I like this. All right,
Question
go for it.
2. In an Ernest Hemingway novella, Santiago does not catch a fish, but does play soccer against the main rival of the Portland Timbers. Alden.
The old man and the sea Spurs.
You did it. You did it again. That's
Yeah.
wrong.
Repeat the question, please.
In an Ernest Hemingway novella, Santiago does not catch a fish, but does play soccer against the main rival of the Portland Timbers. Jake.
The old man in the Seattle Sounders.
You got it.
Damn it! See, I think I'm just
Nice.
too dumb for this. I'm admitting
Hannah.
I'm dumb.
Eat it. Eat a butt, Hannah. Just eat it.
Eat your own butt.
Because she would have gotten it if she'd have answered correctly the first time. She said the old man and the Seahawks.
And the Seahawks. Yeah. I tried to come up with a team name that I don't know anything about. Soccer? Is that what you said? I don't know. I wasn't listening.
It was soccer.
Yes.
I thought I read that book and I thought he talked about baseball the whole time, but whatever.
Well, I've
had
never
nothing
read the
to
book,
do
so I have no
with
idea what he
baseball.
talks about.
It was the old man in the sea, and then at the end of the question,
No. I know.
what does baseball have to do with anything?
In the book, the character talks about baseball incessantly while he's adrift at sea with a fish tied
I've
to his
read the
boat.
book. I
Yeah.
know. That
And
had
he
nothing
talks
to do
it-
with the answer to the question.
No, I get you. I'm just saying. Never mind. Moving on.
Even Hannah's
I
making
don't
fun
know.
of you.
This is my trivia kryptonite this round.
Question 3. Michel Foucault and Stephanie Kelton team up to develop an extremely stupid theory of both culture and economics.
Say it again.
Michel Foucault and Stephanie Kelton team up to develop an extremely stupid theory of both culture and economics. Alden.
Fook you economics.
No.
Damn it. I understand this the least, and I'm the first to go every time.
I have the second one. I don't have the first one. Rizzoli and Keynesian models.
No.
Are these people we're supposed to know?
I know Michel Foucault, yeah.
I don't know.
I think Jake and Steven both have half of the answer.
I have half the answer. I have half the answer. I think
But it's
the
different
audience
half.
is going to be the audience got it.
Oh,
Dadgummit.
some clock gets it.
Come it! I could not think of
I
what went in
told
front
you.
of modern. Good job, some quack. Is that the end of the game?
Did the audience win?
No, we've got one more.
One more.
Oh, that's
okay.
right. 'Cause
All right. Still in it.
No, Steven, you're not in it. Alden, you're not in it either. It's between
I'm not?
you and the
Okay.
audience.
yeah.
I can do the libertarian thing and swing an upset.
All right. Swing a tie, man. It's going to be a tie if either Steven or Alden get it correct.
Question 4. A prominent landform on the North Carolina coastline is the setting of an episode of a 2000s game show hosted by Joe Rogan. Alden.
Pebble Beach Fear Factor.
Wrong coast.
Damn it.
Steven.
Cape of Fear Factor. Cape of Fear.
Cape
Yep.
Fear Factor. Steven gets it.
I should have thought about that better, but I was out, so I was like, eh.
Well, normally
Wait, who
we
won?
do-
Who won?
Normally we do a rock paper scissors to see who won, but tonight it's a tie
Audience, throw up your
between the
signs.
audience and me.
We got fist, peace, and like wave, right? You can do
Zane-
it. You can do it.
Zane, can you come
I'm
up
trying
with
to
a
I'm
random
trying to
question?
think if I can come up with a tiebreaker here.
Yeah, just between me
Okay.
and the audience.
So
How many fingers am I
earlier,
holding up? Yeah.
so in the first question of round 2, when I was saying that the militia of Vermont was called the Green Mountain Boys, who was the commander of the Green Mountain Boys during the Revolutionary period?
Oh no!
And he shares his name with a furniture company.
Am I not allowed to?
Yeah, you know Hannah's
No.
just going to start naming furniture stores rapid fire right now.
Neither of y'all are supposed to answer
Yeah,
this. I'm going
I-
to fail miserably.
If that's too hard,
Is-
maybe I can come up with a different one. Not John Hancock.
Is William Morris a furniture company?
No.
Nebraska Furniture Mart.
Bob's
Dixie.
used couches.
I don't think Dixie is correct.
There's Ashley.
No, Alden, this is us.
Okay, this was clearly too hard, so I'm
Hang on,
going to come
wait.
up with a...
Benedict
Or is
Arnold.
the audience still guessing?
I'm still guessing. Nathan, Arizona. Grumpy says Walmart.
Okay,
Colonel
none
Walmart.
of
Zach
this
says
is
General
right.
Rooms to go.
All right, the answer here is Ethan Allen.
Ethan Allen. Good one.
Okay,
Good
but
one.
okay, I've got a different question for you that hopefully will be easier. So going back to the Ted Danson question,
Okay.
which is Ted Danson somehow escaped permanent cancellation, even though during a roast of what comedian he wore blackface and made fun of her for eating watermelon.
Really? This happened?
This was in the 90s, so it was a different time.
It's fine then. Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg is the correct answer.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Eat it, audience. Eat it. That's my first ever win. Yeah.
Nicely done.
Audience,
man.
thank y'all for going easy on me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I've only played 3 times and I've now won.
If you ever want me to not win, just do that again, whatever that was.
Oh, and as all y'all can see, whoops, right there. I'm not a cheater. Right there. Says it.
He's
It's my
not a
tagline.
crook.
I am not a crook. All right. Thank you, Sumquack. I appreciate it. Jake telling us to eat watermelons. Wow. That was Libations Trivia. Zane, you're crushing it, man. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good round.
That last round is super interesting. I like that. I like that a lot.
Because it's
I might have
it's
to try that
ungoogleable.
again sometime.
Yeah, it is ungoogleable. Yeah, you have to think about it for a while.
Say ungoogleable 5 times fast.
Ungoogleable. Yeah. Yeah, Alden. Maybe you shouldn't be around when we play that kind of trivia.
I might get it now, but
You
I
need
don't
to
know,
get
man.
sober and then play the game a couple times, and then
I think
you
I-
can do it.
maybe I need a different substance actually.
Oh,
Whatever it takes to build the synapse.
there we go.
Meth.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
this next topic is not going to take very long. I also need to go get another drink. I don't know when I'm going to do that, but
But is it going to be as beautiful as this?
no, it's just Maker's Mark. Sadly.
Oh, I don't. You know, I used to like Maker's Mark, but then ever since a Japanese company bought it, I really don't like it. And it's not.
I just buy it for an old fashioned. I don't like. I mix it, so I don't. If I don't sip it straight, the good
It
whiskey.
tastes medicine-y now. I don't like it.
There you go. Alden coming in with the D-Day spirit, talking bad about the Japanese, man.
No, no, I'm fine. I drive a Honda. I'm fine with it. Actually, 2 things. One is that Honda is apparently one of the most American car companies if you consider where parts come from and where labor is. It's Tesla
Toyota.
and Honda. And Toyota's like 3rd, I think, like in terms of like what like most American like
Toyota is like 90+% assembled in Texas. The glass comes from, I think, Mexico or Canada. And the parts come from one of those other countries too, but it's all assembled. Yeah,
Tesla,
At least a couple of years
Honda,
ago, the
Toyota.
Toyota Tundra was the most American vehicle on the road.
Yeah, it's insane. And then like people that buy American, a lot of time they're getting like a half Mexican made car or something. Like if you get like a Ford truck or something, it depends. But
Right.
the other thing is I have been noticing a trend in movies where like rich villains in movies will be drinking $25 fucking Maker's Mark bottles, and it's obnoxious because if you're a billionaire, you probably don't fucking drink Maker's Mark.
That's true.
And I've been noticing a major trend, and I think Maker's Mark is shelling out to Hollywood to get.
It's probably because
some
Pappy's
promo.
not donating bottles to the movie. You know,
Pappy's
you,
not.
I need the
No.
publicity.
Yeah, Pappy 23 is hard to come by on set. Like,
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of
warehouse fire,
speaking of Pappies, let's all take a look at ours. Here's our Pappy, just hanging out on stage.
Get it?
He's all our Pappy.
This is on stage at a D-Day thing.
Pappy
Distinguished guests, please
Is he
welcome
shitting?
the Honorable Lord J. Austin.
He's pooping himself on stage.
That looks like he's shitting himself.
Yeah,
There you go,
no, he
Austin.
is.
Take this, Frenchie. Take this.
Distinguished guests, please welcome the Honorable
Jill,
Lord J.
Jill's
Austin.
like, oh no.
Oh god.
She was just she's not even paying attention to it.
No, she's covering up her mouth and going Code Brown because she's got the microphone on her. Code Brown, Code Brown.
Oh my god.
So yeah, there's not much to talk about there other than the president of the United States crapped his pants on live television.
There you
at
go.
a D-Day
Dropping bombs on
memorial.
D-Day, baby.
I don't know what else that would be, but
Yeah. There's so many good dropping bombs jokes.
either
on Twitter
someone told him the funniest joke on earth and he had to take a knee for a while, or he shit himself. That's like two things. That's it.
Well, I think
it was
Dan
just
Bongino
honoring
even
George
talks about this
Floyd.
stuff. Like the Secret Service agents are even saying that, like, that's one of the things he does. He does it like as a defense mechanism. He does it because he's mad. It's just his weapon for anybody, for foreign policy, for any of his handlers, for his wife, for see if they tell him no at all, he will just crap himself right there. And then they just have to like he was like Hillary with her seizures. They just have to like surround him and like cart him
Oh,
up.
where she's like drinking the coffee.
Yeah.
Like I remember that.
It says the man is a stud to just take a shit right on stage. He's got
my vote.
Can you imagine if he does that during the debate?
Oh my god!
I mean, it's a long debate, There
we go. Joe Biden, I fart in your general direction.
Your mother smells. What is it?
Yeah.
Your mother was a hamster.
There's a few things in today's political climate that you should never push: electric vehicles and wet farts.
There we go.
Biden's doing both.
Yeah. I just watched a clip on a guy that was like talking about, he was basically like, don't use an electric vehicle as a rental car, because you know how you have to return it with a full tank if it's a gas car.
Yeah.
But it takes so long to charge the electric vehicle to bring it back that, dude, this guy was on a rave about it. Anyway,
it doesn't take.
I sent it to Jake, but I sent it this morning. So
You know another world leader is crapping their pants on the stage too. The Pope.
What?
Oh yeah,
Why?
the Pope crapped himself a few weeks ago.
Seriously? Is this
Oh,
a
yeah.
real thing? Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Well, our next article,
And he
has
wears
been
white,
taken
too.
down. Our next article has been taken off the internet. So,
What was it about?
It was about Saudi Arabia to leave the petrodollar.
Oh.
So the theory is at this point, I guess it's a theory. I don't know now if they took the article down. I'm not certain.
Was it
but-
removed or did the poster take it down?
Poster took it down.
Okay.
Which makes me think this might not be actual information now.
That's why
accurate.
I was asking. Yeah.
Yeah. So on June 9th of this
If it's
year,
removed, it's true. If the
The,
poster takes it down, we need to look
there
into
we
it.
go.
Like,
on June 9th, the petrodollar agreement between Saudi Arabia and the United States ends. And the rumor is that Saudi Arabia does not intend to renew that agreement.
or they ran out of oil.
Or they somehow ran out of oil. Yeah.
Well, that definitely didn't happen.
Yeah. So they're not
Right.
going to renew the agreement.
And they're all out of bubble gum. Yeah.
I came here to not renew the agreement and run out of oil, and I've still got plenty of oil.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, I mean, the implications of Saudi Arabia leaving the gold standard, the petrodollar, or not the gold standard, the petrodollar.
The gold standard has long since been left. Yeah.
Leaving the petrodollar would have
Quick, what year does Jake think it is?
massive. Well, Shut up. Would have massive effects on the value of the dollar worldwide very, very quickly. So I guess we'll find out. I don't know. If somebody else starts covering this over the next 3 days, then we'll find out, or we'll just find out on June 9th whether or not your dollar is worthless anymore.
Well, I don't think Saudi Arabia has the unilateral authority to pull the plug on the petrodollar right now, because we are the primary source of the world's refined oil. So Venezuela's got the gooey, stinky crap nobody likes. Saudi Arabia's got the Texas tea. But if anybody wants gasoline or anything that's usable, or to turn it into any kind of plastic, that comes to us.
America.
That's right. That's right. I mean, that is what. So, and we are a large oil producer. We have reserves bigger than Saudi Arabia does. But the commies that run our government won't let us tap into them. And
they're buried underground for future use, and the peasants don't get that. That's a whole different thing.
But we refine more oil than anyone else. I mean, anybody wants any kind of refined natural petroleum product, they come to us.
Soundquack has all this right. Mm-hmm. Immediate response: time to buy more Bitcoin.
There you go. Right. And even if you're still skeptical of cryptocurrency, I fully understand that. You're wrong, but I fully understand. So if you want to get into precious metals, I'll give you a little hint here. This is not financial advice. I'm just giving you political advice. You don't want your precious metals to come from a central bank.
There we go.
You want to trust a private mint that is internationally recognized. But if it's a central bank, if it's the U.S. Treasury issuing this gold coin, if it's the Perth Mint from Australia, which, by the way, just got caught in the largest gold fraud in history.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. That's bad news for me.
Uh-oh, why?
Because I happen to own some gold from the Perth Mint.
Well, I own some from a while ago, too.
Looks like I should have done some more of my own research on that.
It might be legit, but just look back through some old news stories. You can Google this. Perth Mint rips off China in gold shipment.
That was the main thing. They did that with China. I'm not sure how much of it went out to other countries, but they definitely screwed over China.
Yeah.
Like if you're getting 1 ounce coins from them, it's fine. But China was ordering like tons.
Bars or something.
Yeah, well, that's what Zane orders too. Zane, you can't see it, but directly off screen is just a refrigerator-sized gold bar.
His desk is built of gold. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. But
how do you think I have all this time to write those trivia questions?
That's right.
Exactly.
But this is the kind of shakeup we're looking at. This is tectonic political shifts taking place. The whole world is getting shaken.
And political shits taking place if you follow Joe Biden.
If you look at the Pope and Biden, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If you buy gold, make sure you have a scale as well, says Brian. You can check for counterfeits. Also, muriatic acid. Muriatic acid is pretty cheap. And if gold is pure, muriatic acid, it will react with muriatic acid. But if it's diluted below, I think 14 karat muriatic acid at a certain concentration will not produce any smoke. So that's another way to check for gold.
What if it's leafed in real gold, but then inside is not? Then the reaction wouldn't matter, right?
Well, it's got to be a certain ratio too. So if it's like gold jewelry, because gold is so soft and malleable, that you have to have palladium mixed in with it in a certain ratio.
That's where the carat comes from, right? It's like the hardness, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So where does the stick come from, though?
What do you say?
Where does the stick come from? And aren't the carrot and the stick? Aren't those?
Get out of here!
So,
oh my god!
Either way, if the petrodollar dies, or I don't think the U.S. is going to lose hegemony anytime in the next 10 years, because it's not just the petrodollar holding us up. Keep in mind, hey, they pulled the plug on the petrodollar. Cool. We still got a big enough military to invade the whole planet simultaneously.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia. If you go off the petrodollar, who's going to help you invade Yemen?
Yeah,
exactly.
Man. There you go.
Oh, Lord.
We could turn that desert to glass real quick if we needed to. So,
on the same train, we're continuing on. Zimbabwe Central Bank ironing out wrinkles in new currency that will be a gold-backed currency.
Gold-backed shells.
Yeah, not fake gold. They're not getting it from the Perth Mint, but it's a brand new currency in Zimbabwe. Gold-backed token.
How many countries use gold-backed currency today?
Very few.
Very few. That was one of the goals of Muammar Gaddafi.
Yep.
For all his faults, he was on the verge of having, I think, 13 to 15 African nations united under a Pan-African gold-backed currency, and it was also backed by Libyan oil. And that's why we had him murdered
backed by both?
Yeah, it was going to be a gold-backed currency that was also pegged to the price of a barrel of oil coming from Libya.
So it was like an average of the two or something? Or
Well,
I don't know how
it kept Libya as like the central bank of a third of Africa.
Yeah.
That's
still a better idea than what we have right now.
If you really want to, I could get into a really nerdy conversation about bimetallism, but I doubt anybody wants that. Because that would...
I mean, I'm into it. I don't know what everyone else
go
is
for
into,
it. I got to go get another drink.
I'm more into like heterometalism,
Well, it is Pride Month.
All right, I'm going to go get another drink. Zane, go on a rant, man.
Yeah, let's hear it, man.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Listeners will remember that this is actually the second time Jake has left during one of my economic rants. But yeah, so talking about a hypothetical currency that would have been backed by both gold and oil made me think of a movement in the late 1800s and early 1900s in the US to move away from strictly a gold standard and move to a bimetallic standard. So that's why I said bimetallism, where
Gold,
the currency would be defined both by gold and silver.
Yeah.
And during that time, the people that were in favor of it, there were a lot of like populist farmer types that really liked this idea because they were under the impression that if you could just take silver and turn it into money, that would create a bunch of new money, and then you'd have all this money that people could spend. And if you're not very good at economics, you might think that that's a good thing in and of itself. But it
Silverflation, yeah,
would just cause some inflation. Obviously, not nearly as bad as inflation as you get when you can just print money backed by nothing.
Agreed.
But,
yeah.
And there's also, have either of you ever heard of Gresham's law? It's
refresh me on it.
It's the phrase that bad money drives out good. And so if you have two things that are both defined as money, people will only use the worse, the less valuable money in transaction and will hoard the better money.
Oh,
so
interesting.
I think, at the inception of the US dollar, it actually was defined both by gold and silver, and then they moved away from it because I think what they had done was that they had defined the dollar as a certain quantity of gold or as some other quantity of silver. And when they first set that ratio, they tried to get it as close to the actual market value ratio of gold to silver. But just because market prices change, that's not going to be the permanent ratio of how valuable gold actually is compared to silver. So what ended up being the case was silver became relatively less valuable to gold. So people just hoarded all of the gold coins that they had and only ever used the silver.
That makes sense.
And so you get into these difficulties when you try to have, a monetary standard defined by more
tied
than
to two
one
things.
item.
The Gresham's law, that's interesting.
And then silver is highly suppressed as well. You got folks like George Soros, you got BlackRock, you got Citadel, you got Chase Bank, HSBC, all heavily shorting silver futures.
And then buying it later when it dips, or what?
Well, yes, but when you experience something like you have in the last 18 months where the price of silver pops 40+% rather quickly. And so if you know anything about the futures market, everything's like logarithmically exponential. So it's not
That
like
sentence
dollar for
made
dollar.
sense.
What's that?
That made a lot of sense.
Okay, well, it's exponential. So it compounds. It's not dollar for dollar. So like if you short something on a futures market and then the futures increase or the actual price increases, then you're short on the future. So say the price increases like $2, whatever the short is, you're not just losing $2, you're losing like $10 to $12.
Right.
Because that's how people make, because futures, you trade on really tight channels in futures. You really have to know what you're doing there. That's, I've been trained on, trading various asset classes, and they start with Forex because you've got the widest margin of error and you can screw up and not lose your butt. So it's the way they tiered it out is like, you do Forex first, then you do stocks, then you get into real estate, then you do futures. Futures is like for the experts. And
oh, sorry, go ahead.
But it's Chase and HSBC are particularly highly exposed to silver futures shorts, and they're getting blown out. Because silver went from like $20 an ounce a year ago to $31 now. And so, if they're putting $20 million in a short, they're losing $100+ million. And of course, they're playing with more money than that.
Yeah.
So specifically, what's happening there is that most futures contracts are. You can think of it as being extremely highly leveraged, where you're kind of taking a position using a lot of money that you borrowed instead of money that is actually yours. So you can take this massive position, and then only a slight movement in the position will cause you to lose a lot of your own money, even if the moon was really small. And then the other thing, Stephen, as you were saying, it's like a lot of these commodities contracts are set up where it's like tons of silver and gold, or like millions of bushels or barrels of oil, or huge quantities of whatever commodity it is, so that even if the price change is really tiny, when you multiply it by a huge quantity of the commodity, it becomes a sizable financial move. But there are really funny stories of banks that have commodity trading desks and are trading these futures contracts. And generally, when I was taking derivatives class in college, the guy that was teaching that used to be a derivatives trader himself. And he told the class, you always want to make sure you close out the trade before the end of the contract, or else you might actually have to take delivery of 100 gallons of oil or whatever it is. And you don't want to have to do that. But there are funny stories of banks that actually do want to take physical delivery of warehouses full of silver for whatever reason.
Well, because it has applications outside of just being money. It has medical applications. It's a great conductor of electricity.
You can colloid it,
Well, exactly. I use it as medicine. Yeah.
We've got a few bottles of that.
Colloidal silver.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I colloid a lot of things, Alden. Also, Alden, I'm joining you on the drunk train at this moment. I realized the second drink was a big mistake.
So Zimbabwe. If you read the whole story that we posted earlier off of Cointelegraph about the Zig, they're trying to make Rhodesia great again. It started off. That's right. It started off as a central bank digital currency. They realized pretty quickly that sucks. They're like, this is Mugabe bucks all over again. What are we doing here?
Would it be? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Now that they have it pegged to a physical asset that they mine, it's an asset that originates within their own country. They can produce it. So they're getting some things right. And I know like the average goldfish attention span American thinks that Africa is like so undeveloped and they're still in the Stone Age, and they're all still wearing dancing around naked with spears around a fire and stuff. Like, hold up, dude. They're up and coming.
It just made me want goldfish.
Obama can go over there all he wants and tell them that they can't have air conditioning. It's coming. I mean, they're figuring this stuff out because they've been through it.
Okay, so what's the one thing that's better that they could have pegged their currency to?
I mean, for them at the moment, nothing really. I mean, them just pegging it to gold, and it's something that they mine and produce within their own country.
Fair. I mean, gold is there.
I mean, they could do Bitcoin, but do they have an internet infrastructure sufficient?
Is it wise to peg to Bitcoin like another?
Well, you wouldn't
El
peg
Salvador
to
did.
Bitcoin. You just use Bitcoin.
You would just use Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Like El Salvador. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I thought this was a super interesting little thing right here. It says if you made $500,000 per day every single day since the Great Pyramids were built, you would have less than half of what the U.S. government has borrowed since June.
That's not true, but that's just because they're
Keep in
older
mind that was
than
posted
we're
in
told
May,
they-
so we're talking about an 11-month period, not just this week.
No. I mean, that's not true in the sense that they're going off of
Alden's talking about the pyramids were built like 67,000 years ago.
older than, but based on, if we're going with mainstream Egyptology, then sure, right?
We're going with mainstream Egyptology for this post because we're not autistic assholes.
No, I think we are, but whatever.
No, we are definitely autistic. It's the asshole part that I'm more referring to.
No, I was talking about I'm an asshole. Like, yeah, I'm an idiot.
Talking about manholes again, guys.
Manholes, yeah. So I have a real world scenario that I want to see. I want to ask Zane if this is a Gresham's law. Is that the right word? Gresham's law. So
that is what I said.
Yeah. Jake and I are playing Settlers of Catan, and he has a lot of stone and sheep. And sheep are aplenty, and no one gives a shit, and he's willing to trade his sheep, but he's hoarding all of his stone. Is that a Gresham's Law scenario?
So, the island of Catan does not have a central monetary authority. So the situation that you're describing is just that the market value of stone expressed in terms of sheep would be very high.
Brian's
but
right.
Gresham's Law comes into play where, if I come in and declare myself the central bank of Catan and say that the Catan dollar is worth either 1 stone or 3 sheep, but actually in the market, what people would actually trade 1 stone for is 4 sheep, but I'm trying to enforce an exchange ratio of 3 sheep, then people would hoard their stone and only use sheep because it would be the relatively less.
Otherwise,
valuable.
it's just supply and demand, right?
Yeah, they get sheepish about trading their stone.
The issue with this whole scenario is the scenario is built on a false foundation, which is I will not play Catan with Alden anymore. Okay, I played with him one time.
Yeah,
him and his girlfriend, and it was the most excruciatingly long game of Catan I have ever.
It was a normal length game for me,
dude. It was 3.5 hours.
Was it that long? No way.
In a cabin in the middle of the woods with a tiny little light
full of moths.
It was so bad.
It was like
you and your girlfriend go over every single possible outcome before you make a trade or a move or build a settlement.
That's right.
Playing with y'all, I want to die. I want to die.
Dude, I have chess games that will go on for like a week or something sometimes. Like,
I want to play that. I want to play Axis and Allies.
What's that?
Oh,
yeah, let's play Axis and Allies.
So Zane,
look it up.
Does Gresham's Law apply to like Facebook? Recently tried to have their own crypto. We'll call it crypto. Libra. They tried to get that approved through the SEC, and it was going to be pegged to the U.S. dollar and a basket of precious metals. I mean, we're talking like it was like gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. Is that like a Gresham's Law thing?
I'm going to say that nobody cares enough about Facebook crypto for anything to really apply to it.
The SEC heard them out, man. It was a 2-day hearing.
Wow.
So
It is, but to seriously answer your question, there has to be some kind of external authority trying to force an exchange rate to be something other than what the market says that it is. And if you don't have that, then it's not really going to be a Gresham's Law situation.
Got it.
All right. We're going to move on from monetary talk because...
And now we're going to talk about board games.
Even I'm getting bored. And this is my go-to subject. All right. We're going to talk about this. Mr. Stephen Hilton put this in the chat this week. About half the people indicted in feeding our future fraud had other state contracts. Defense attorney says federal prosecutors are also investigating adult daycare issues. Oh my gosh.
For Biden.
About half of the people charged by the U.S. Department of Justice with stealing hundreds of millions of dollars from a federal program to feed children during the pandemic have been paid tens of millions more in state money for services such as providing childcare and assisting seniors and people with disabilities, including Joe Biden.
There we go. Well, that's what the adult daycare comes from. Because I've seen there's some places that call it adult daycare, which is really like drop your husband off while you go shopping and he gets a haircut and gets drunk. That's not
sounds
what
like
That's kind of daycare. That's a great.
we're talking about disabled adults going because like they can't have a job. They're like on that level. That's
a fun daycare too, though.
Well, yeah, they go hang out and watch TV, listen to music, and make macaroni shakers, stuff like that. So it's that kind of thing. But and you look at this, you'll notice that article is from last August. This thing has been ongoing for that long, and of course, the fraud itself has been going on for years before that because it was during the pandemic when it started. They've gotten away with $250 million. $250 million. Like they've stolen from the state. State legislators are losing their seats. They're being indicted as well. There's jurors that are reporting being handed a duffel bag with $120,000 in cash, saying vote not guilty. Now, of course,
How do I get on that jury?
Seriously,
well,
Yeah.
if I know you got $250 million, though, you're gonna have to give. I'm gonna need like 4 of those duffel bags.
I consider myself a pretty honest and pretty principled person until there's duffel bags of cash involved, and then who knows, you know?
No.
Right.
I will absolutely take the money, and then I'll vote exactly how I was going to vote before.
There you go.
Screw you. You're trying to take advantage of the system. I'm going to take advantage of you being a douchebag.
Oh yeah, I stole your dirty money. Call the cops.
Yeah. Why don't you go
Right.
tell people why I have your money, you idiot?
Yeah. I know you stole this money. I'm stealing it from you.
Yeah. This money that smells like hooker sweat and cocaine. Like call somebody about it. I dare
Exactly. So, Stephen, I personally knew nothing about feeding our future fraud. I had no idea this existed until you put this in the chat this week. So can you go a little bit more into what they were doing and why this came out a year ago?
I don't know exactly how it's going on. And then here's the other reason why this is not popping up in mainstream headlines. This is Somali migrants that were relocated to Minnesota, through our great Department of Justice, because when they cross the southern border, they get a bus ticket to anywhere.
Well, that's justice. That makes sense.
Yeah, well, and it's, if you see the Tim Pool episode when Dave Benner came on, Tim Pool opens up with that.
Dave was on Tim Pool?
Yes.
Dave Benner was on Tim Pool.
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously? That's cool.
Very proud of him. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to.
Yeah, Tim's opening monologue, they're talking about, styles of immigration. They're talking about open borders, closed borders, or the Ellis Island model. And, the Ellis Island model failed, or we got away from it because so many immigrants were coming in. You can't detain all those many people.
The Ellis Island model is the open model, but you have to make up a new last name for them as they come in.
Basically, yeah.
That's the Ellis Island.
It's you kind of train them how to assimilate. You quarantine them, make sure they're not carrying diseases. You do a background check in their native country, make sure they don't.
And you mispronounce their name and you write it down differently, and they are they're Smith for the rest of eternity. Yeah,
exactly. But enough people were dying, and there was mistreatment on such a level that we moved away from that and just left an open door in its place. And
Right.
Tim Pool was talking about this. That you start getting these enclaves of unassimilated people that just build their own little sovereign cities, their own little pockets within your country, within your state, and they don't follow your laws, they don't follow your norms, and and resist your regulation, but they're just here to reap all your benefits. And so
What's
that's
the
what we're
rate?
getting in Montana and Minnesota, mainly with Somalis, and that's what this feeding our future thing is these Somali migrants came in and they be doing what pirates be doing. And
I can't not think of Somali pirate when you say Somali. It's like peanut butter jelly, Somali.
Look at me. I am the government contractor now.
Right. That's exactly what happened, dude. That's exactly what happened. They're like, wait a second. So I come in here and I just say I work for this group and I do this and that, and you give me this money? And they're like, yeah. Well, I do this and that, give me this money. And they're like, here you go. And they're like, oh, wait a second. Hey, I have a cousin. He's got a group too. Hey, he's got a cousin. And we all have groups. And then eventually they start funneling that money back into the politicians that are giving them the money. Politicians get reelected. Other politicians get in place. Political alliances get formed. More money comes down, and eventually it gets to a point where it's $250 million. Like, that's a significant portion of the state budget. You can't not notice that if you're just a state. This isn't the Pentagon we're talking about. This is the state of Minnesota.
Right. Did you guys see the theory on like the immigration thing where I sent a clip about this, but apparently too late. But where they were talking about the immigration going to certain states and like why they're like making laws in like New York and certain states is to basically like backfeed the population loss in California and New York and states that have like they're bleeding people before the census so that they can basically like boost their numbers again and not lose like seats and things. Yeah. College and Senate seats and things like that. And
not Senate.
Or Senate's always two, but House, yeah.
I mean,
and that makes sense.
The demographic shifts have been happening enough within Native American people, Americans that are native to the area. Demographic shifts are happening on a large enough scale. Texas is about to create their own stock exchange.
Really?
Yes.
There we go.
They have just so while we're talking about people tying for or overtaking second place, Texas has just as many Fortune 500 companies as New York now.
Okay.
California still has the most Fortune 500 companies headquartered in their state, but Texas has just as many as New York. And I mean, they're a financial powerhouse because it's not just the companies that are headquartered there. I mean, the natural
Texas has a lot of oil and pharmaceuticals, right? Like that's
oil, pharmaceuticals, technology,
farm. Yeah.
I mean, every calculator you've ever used, in elementary school upward.
Texas Instruments. Man. Yeah.
DLP technology for the TVs. The advent of HD TV came from Texas, dude.
Every cowboy hat I've ever owned, yeah.
And there were, over the past 15 years or so, Texas, multiple cities have made it very advantageous to move your headquarters to Texas.
Did Tesla move to Texas because of the same type of?
Yep, all of Elon Musk's companies moved to Texas.
All of them, the Boring Company and all of that, and
I don't count the Boring Company. That only is ever going to matter in Los Angeles because that town is a friggin' cluster. So yeah, but other than that, like Starlink, Tesla, SpaceX, all that stuff moved to Texas.
PayPal.
Well, as they say, Texas is here to kick butt and run out of oil, and they've still got plenty of oil.
That's right. That's right. But so you hear that news of Texas is about to have its own stock exchange. It's going to rival the New York Stock Exchange, and prima facie, that's exciting. It's great. But look at who the main funders are of this initial venture: BlackRock, Citadel.
Of course, there
it's the same old thing all over again, just on a different landscape.
Yeah.
So it's while we still have the system in place, it's kicking the can down the road. But it's like I said earlier, if the whole world is kicking down a notch at the same time, we maintain hegemony, right?
Yeah.
So you've got some time to plan. You've got some time to if you pull your head out of the sand and start paying attention, get yourself in some real assets that's not backed by a central bank. Understand what assets are and what value really is outside of the government just saying it is, then you can protect yourself.
Zach says the company that owns the New York Stock Exchange is based in Georgia.
Is it
That's
really?
right?
Yeah, and he says maybe.
Maybe. I want to say maybe.
And the dude that owns it is married to our former Senator Kelly Loeffler.
Huh? Really?
Yes, sir.
Stephen, the amount of Georgia politics that you
Yeah.
know is astounding.
I agree.
Like
Georgia specific knowledge, like unparalleled. It's insane.
Stephen, honestly, like I know that we're going to do a show called Hilton's Hotel of Logic, but you should just have a Georgia politics show because you should be the one to take over Free Georgia Podcast.
I feel like Stephen knows the preference of like what public bathrooms they prefer, like any Georgia politician prefers to use. Like it's just the level of detail sometimes is just insane.
Well, that's not a hard one. They probably all prefer to use the all gender bathroom.
I don't know what's an all gender bathroom.
It's the non-binary one, man. It's the one that anybody can go into and feel okay about themselves.
The one that's real nasty, you can just pee on the changing table and fold it up.
That's a changing table? Oh man. I've been using that wrong for years.
All right, we're gonna move on to vaccines being put in foods.
I forgot you had said that we were going to talk about that. That's very disturbing.
This is extremely disturbing. Watch this clip. Here we go.
Give me an example of food that's a vaccine.
You recognize? Yes. University of California, Riverside has already perfected the ability to put human vaccines into our lettuce right now. Also, tomatoes has the ability to do that also for UC Berkeley.
Vegetables.
And then Big Tobacco, RJ Reynolds and stuff has perfected the ability to put a human vaccine into tobacco products.
Chairman Clemens.
Cool.
And is that even legal to do in the state of Tennessee to sell those with a vaccine in them?
You recognize? Well, I'm not arguing that point. What I'm saying is there is no law deeming those that when you go into a grocery store, you should know as a consumer, this head of lettuce is a head of lettuce. The head of lettuce right next to it could contain a vaccine in it. All we're saying is if it does have the vaccine in it, make sure it's listed as a pharmaceutical so people can get the proper dosage.
You recognize? Thank you. Well, my question is right now, can you walk into a grocery store and there be a head of lettuce for sale that has a vaccine in it? I don't think that's allowed under state law presently. And if it is, and you have to list it as a pharmaceutical, are we going to then have Walgreens pharmacists with a refrigerated section? I mean, how?
Okay, so he ends up asking stupid questions at the end.
Yeah, he's
because he can't grasp it because it's the frog in the boiling pot of water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've incrementally gotten to this point so far because we've been putting pharmaceuticals in municipal water for so long. You've got the fluoride in the water. Oh, it's for teeth. It's for teeth.
Then why do we drink it and they tell us not to swallow any of the fluoride toothpaste, mouthwash, and other treatments? And
we've been putting up with that crap for 80 years now.
Yeah,
okay.
That's truly that's one of my fucking biggest soapbox moments. I'll just go on a whole other thing.
Now you have this stuff that can fly under the radar because they could still be certified non-GMO if they're treated with the mRNA technology.
How is that not genetically modified?
Because it's a different type of modification.
It's genetically
what they consider
modified.
GMO is that you're splicing. You're physically a scientist in a lab is physically splicing genes under a microscope, doing this, sewing this together, and then calling that the final product. Now, mRNA is inspiring an evolution. There's many different ways they can play with the language of how this stuff works.
I mean, even cross-pollinating plants is technically modified.
The moral of the story is exactly what some quack said. Grow your own, dummies. Grow your own stuff so that you will not be subjected to the whims and the idiotic plans of people that
Bill Gates.
you will never meet, especially Bill Gates.
I've been in a room in front of 4 current Georgia legislators, and I brought this up to them, and they said, "Oh, bullshit! You're listening to Alex Jones." I said, "Yeah, I am," but he linked bills from other states.
I am, but
I said, "I am." I said, "But look at this video." I said, "He's putting up bills that 7 other states have already introduced and passed."
Yeah,
and they said, "Get me some of that language, and I'll put it in."
Yeah.
So
this is one of the scarier things because what
the
Matt
meat is
Matt
scary,
Carter
too.
said is super interesting. Matt
I
says,
agree with
I bet these bitches mean the mRNA bullshit too, not traditional
an actual
vaccines.
that's
vaccine.
exactly
probably
right.
correct.
Well,
Yeah,
you know,
it is
since
what
the 90s, you know, our government has had open air cornfields growing HIV and AIDS and Ebola.
Happy Pride Month.
Yeah, you know, so it's you get into that kind of stuff, and then you're talking about cross pollination, what's going to come from that. But you got Deborah Birx now wanting all the cattle to be and the meat birds to be vaccinated for bird flu.
Yep.
But she's also pushing the mRNA vaccine stuff. And what does that do? We don't even know.
We know, Grumpy.
And we also know the FDA has just last year allowed some kind of salmon that's been genetically crossbred with a cockroach to be introduced into the waters.
That's in the wild?
Yeah, to make it more hardy to like hard winters and hot summers and all that kind of stuff.
Not in the wild.
It eats the natural salmon and it doesn't breed.
Great. Perfect.
Zane, please say something. Bring us back to reality, please.
Okay, so a couple things. What was so interesting about that guy from the video was he was suggesting that Walgreens would have a freezer selling vaccinated lettuce.
I agree.
Okay, no, but my point in bringing this up again is this guy, I think that regardless of whether he has, good intentions or not, whatever that means, like I'm not just, I don't know anything about him, but I don't think that whoever that random state legislator is really part of the power elite. But he's clearly so blue-pilled that he thinks the point of vaccinated lettuce would be that consumers would actually want to buy vaccinated
for
lettuce
the vaccine.
at CVS.
Yeah.
But that's obviously not the point. What the
No.
point is to trick people into buying vaccinated lettuce when they think that they're buying regular lettuce.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what we were talking about at the top of the show. There are certain people that think, wow, there are these people that are so stupid that won't get vaccinated even if we try to force them. We'll just trick them by putting it in their lettuce and not telling them.
I agree.
So that's what the real goal of this is. And if you think that the goal is, so that CVS can actually market vaccinated lettuce, that's
no. Zane's making my point today. I appreciate this. Yeah, I can just watch me talk now. This is interesting.
And then the other thing is, I know Jake, and one of the comments was the moral of this is grow your own food, which if you like doing that, if you're positioned to doing that, I'm never going to tell people to not grow their own food. I think that taking it as a moral that everybody should grow their own food, it's
unrealistic.
It makes me sad that has to be something that is considered seriously because, the reason why everybody enjoys such a high standard of living these days is that not everybody has to grow their own lettuce. I can do what I'm best at, and I can buy lettuce from somebody else that grows lettuce better than I can.
Well,
and it's unfortunate it's unfortunate
That's
for me. Yeah, so that's where I was getting at. That's what I was getting at, which is it's unfortunate for me that I have to now be concerned that if I buy lettuce, it might secretly have.
Look, Zane, you should have already been. You should have already been concerned with that. You should have like that.
I mean, right now, there's a massive recall here in Georgia for listeria in cucumbers. You know what? One of the main causes for listeria outbreaks in our produce because people are taking craps in the field while they're picking it.
Really?
And not washing their hands. I'm dead serious, dude.
Damn.
Okay. You get a listeria outbreak, you get a salmonella outbreak. They're out. You're out in the middle of a 400-acre field out in the sun. Where's the portage on?
Oh, the field.
Do the math, man.
Well, okay, so I didn't realize that Joe Biden was picking the cucumbers.
Yeah.
But so my broader point is, it just makes me sad that there's all this government stuff going on that's interfering with the beauty of the marketplace. And I acknowledge that it's happening. And I think that people are like me that don't like growing their own food should at least put some more effort than I currently do into buying food that's better than what I currently buy.
Yeah,
so
look,
I will definitely grant that.
I agree with that. Look, like McDonald's. Okay, McDonald's started off by cooking their beef with beef tallow, cooking their fries in beef tallow, and now they cook it in
canola or
the horrendous things they cook their fries in now is it. If you could watch the process, which you can, if you go on YouTube and watch the process of what McDonald's fries goes through, you would never eat that thing again in your life.
Yeah, hey, folks, if fast food is a large portion of your diet and you're anxious or you're depressed or you have trouble sleeping, you're not anxious or depressed. Half of your diet consists of motor oil and machine grease. Okay,
there we go.
That it's not food. What you're eating, it looks like food. Some of it smells like food. It's not food. Okay, you have to know. You're not grumpy. You have to know where your food comes from. Know your farmer. Establish that connection. And by the way, while we're talking about inflation and money and real value, if you're buying stuff from the farm, it's going to cost a little more. But you're going to have that face-to-face interaction. You're going to have the guy that like, hey, look, you're buying a quarter cow. Come meet it. I'll let you go hang out with it. You can pet it.
Yeah.
This is just
some quack says, even if not to force a vax, could be to avoid having to grow clean foods and animals and just vax the garbage out of it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just an anecdotal bit.
Yeah.
My granddad died of Alzheimer's, and Alzheimer's.
Sorry to hear that. That's nasty.
Dude, it was.
My grandmother
hard,
did too.
man.
It's terrible.
It's rough. And the more I've been looking into it, and I've been, so we're not blood related. He was like my step grandpa, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
And so genetically, I don't have necessarily like a predisposition to it or anything like that. But I was taking count of his lifestyle and things like that. And one of the things that he like never ate actual good olive oil or butter or anything. That guy had a country crock tub in his fridge and for everything. He only ate margarine, and it's something. I mean, it's very specific to him. That is just all he did. And I've been hearing more recently people talking about how margarine is essentially like the same. Like it's like one like molecular change away from plastic, and that it's been linked to Alzheimer's. And as I've been hearing people say this about margarine, I was like, holy shit, like all my grandpa ate his whole life was country crock or whatever.
It's not just country crock, man. Like Alzheimer's didn't exist 120 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. Snow-capped lard. There you go. Yeah.
Good old lard. Doing it old school.
Nice.
I gotta step away for a second, fellas. I'll be right back.
No worries. But that's what
keep going.
Food is like the quality of the oils that you're cooking your food in. It used to be beef tallow, that is what the original hamburger was actually beef cooked in beef fat was the original hamburger. It was cooked in like a well where they rendered so much beef that they just basically were like, well, let's use this fat for the chuck fat and just fry it. And they would throw fries in as well and everything because they just had a lot of it. But then at the scale that it is now, we need so much more oil. So we need these cheaper oils. We need these like, canola and corn and palm seed and safflower, whatever these oils. And they're
safflower oil, man.
They're just garbage, man. I was watching another thing where somebody was talking about the process of like, if you just press a safflower seed or a palm seed or whatever, that's fine. But the oil is so thick that that's not a commercial oil. And so then they do a process to thin it, but then that makes it cloudy. And then they do a process to clear it. And then that makes it whatever. And then, so it goes through like 8 different stages where they're changing it. And it's basic. Now it's like diesel at this point. Like it's not even a food, there's so many chemicals added, and it's been heated to the point where the oil is essentially rancid, and then it needs to be stabilized, and then you need to add a stabilizer, and like it's insane. And unfortunately most vegetable oils outside of like coconut and real olive oil, not like vegetable oil dyed green or whatever,
correct,
are just garbage anyway.
Yeah,
it's scary.
We got to give a shout out. Okay, we're gonna start. we're going to start promoting this event for very soon. It's the Great Create.
The Great Create
It's gonna
again.
be the second year of the Great Create, and Zach says
Yeah.
the Great Create may be keynoted by a big beef guy here in Georgia, White Oak Farms. It's actually White Oak Pastures. This guy is freaking awesome.
Okay.
Highly recommend. I believe he's been on Rogan. If I'm not wrong, let me make sure. Where is Meet Us? Let's see. Is it?
What's his name?
Is it Paul Saladino or Paul
Joel
Saladin?
Saladin?
Joel Saladin. Does
Joel
he do White
Saladin.
Oak? Does he do White Oak, or is that somebody else?
I'm not sure what farm he runs, but he's the guy that's in all the documentaries like Forks Over Knives and King Corn and
Will
all the
Harris.
things tell you
Okay.
about like the food's trying to kill you. He's the dorky looking guy with the glasses and the overalls all the time.
Yeah.
So
and
Will
he's
Harris,
talking-
I think, has also been on Rogan as well.
Okay.
And yeah, similar situation to Joel Saladin's farm is White Oak Pastures.
Joel Saladin actually bent the ear of Walmart. He got like the Walton family got a hold of him because he was in all like the like the natural living, know your farmer type documentaries for like 10 years, and then like the Walton family was like,
Dude,
"Yo,
he
are you big enough that we can carry your stuff?" And he's like,
Yeah.
Yep.
He is. Yeah, Joel Saladin. When the pandemic started and they started locking people down and saying stay away, he invited people to his farm to walk around, touch everything,
Yeah.
touch the animals, just basically do everything and get more
Get out in the
microbiome.
sun.
Yeah.
And get exposed to the earth and all that, and
Get in the sun, Alden.
get out in it, not out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's
Yeah.
a much better way to put it than out of the
There's
sun.
so many
That makes no sense.
centenarians
Out in the sun.
here in the States that when they get interviewed, they're like, "Hey, what's the secret to your longevity?" Every now and then you get these outliers that are like, "Every day at 5:00, I take a shot of Johnny Walker and drink a Dr. Pepper." But most of them are like,
That's
"I
not
don't
the
have
key?
to-" I mean, it might be, but
This
Most-
is one of the better
most of them
comments
like-
of the night, yo.
a
Great Create
significant
2.
portion of them was
The
that.
Great Create 2 Electric Boogaloo. one of the better comments of the night. I had to
Yeah.
say that.
I mean, but
Brian's
a lot of
been
these
killing it, yeah.
centenarians are talking about like 2-3 days a week they walk down to the riverbank and eat a fistful of dirt.
B12, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where vitamin B's, like the family of vitamin B, basically comes from, is apparently from soil, and then animals, herbivores that eat the grass that get bits of the soil, and then it gets like transposed
Certain
into their
forms
body.
of B12 because I linked a study in the
Not cyanocobalamin B12 or whatever the hell.
yeah,
that is.
cyanocobalamin, which is in all the energy drinks. You look at that.
That's
and,
made from
it's-
human shit or something. Like,
It's grown off of E. coli.
yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's made. They get it, the waste product, from human waste treatment plants. The yellow sludge shit that they get, and they make it's like way too close to. It's basically cyanide. It's like a form of cyanide that they build it from. It's not good, man. It's in like Monster and shit.
I can't help but wonder, like, who's the guy that discovered that?
Yeah, who
Like-
was digging through shit and was like, we can fucking use this? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Hey guys, you ever take a taste of that yellow stuff that floats on the top of this? Like,
Yeah.
everything
Woo,
okay
gives
at
you a
home?
rush. you want a real rush? Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Damn.
We're gonna move on from
Sorry.
food and vaccines. We're going to. I don't know if y'all know this, but there was a contest a giveaway for Rabbit Eye wine. 3 bottles of Rabbit Eye wine were given away, and goodness gracious, what do we call it? The giveaway
Sweepstakes?
just ended. The sweepstakes just ended.
The sweeps.
So we're going to reveal those right now as soon as I get the daggum window pulled up.
I'll
The
be right
winners of the Rabbit Eye wine giveaway are Jesse McGrory, Richard Fast, and Dave McCausland. So if you are
Congratulations,
watching, congrats, y'all. Y'all get a bottle of Rabbit Eye wine each. It will be mailed out to you within the next week. So congrats. We'll get in touch with you. We'll get your addresses, and congrats. You're going to enjoy it. What a delicious, delicious prize you just earned. by entering your information into our website.
I hope it was worth it.
I hope it was worth it. And Hannah, yes, we are sexist. We only give away bottles of wine to white cisgender males.
Well, if you listen to that kicker a few weeks ago, all the women were at home in the kitchen where they needed to be.
Yeah.
They couldn't enter the sweepstakes.
100%. Yeah. Between the hours of 8 and 10, generally speaking, there's not supposed to be women watching this show. If there are, then they're not doing their duties as women. That's kind of how I feel. Wow, we're gonna lose our 3 female viewers now. This is gonna suck. Yeah, Zach says women shouldn't even be watching this. Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, Alden is on the show, so women definitely shouldn't be watching this.
The content is not suitable for a general audience.
So
there you go. Hannah says she is currently barefoot and pregnant. So
there we go. Yes, she is.
There we go. Let's get that woman a bottle of wine and a cigarette.
I can't start the next story until Alden gets here because it's a conspiracy.
Wait, we have another story.
What do you want, Zane?
We've been going for 2 hours and 20 minutes. Let's get to the funnies.
Oh, come on. Rogan's still got 2 hours left.
Zane, I said at the beginning of the night, I don't have a time limit tonight. We're just going until we pass out. You got to drink more. You have another drink, Zane. No? Zane, you remind me so much of my buddy Jeff in Texas.
That's great. There you go. And then Brian says nobody should be watching this.
No. Oh, Brian, you butthole. Yeah, Brian, you're banned from the comment section. All right, Steven, I feel like hang on a second. I'm going back through the comments. Somebody had said something interesting, and I was going to put it up here, but now I can't find it. Oh, Zach says, if Trump brings back tallow fries, I'll vote for him. You know, there are worse things to vote for somebody about. Yeah, I don't know. All right.
By the way, Hannah, congratulations on the pregnancy.
Heck yeah. Yeah, she's going to give birth around Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's a good time. We're going to Dallas. We're going to meet our new niece or nephew, whatever it happens to be.
Oh, God. Pregnant in Dallas in the summertime? God bless you, Hannah. God bless you. That's all I can say.
It's hot up here right now. I'm in freaking Montana, and I was working out on the platform today, and it was I was sweating like a pig. All right.
Just so the audience knows, I was successfully peer pressured into getting another drink, so I've got some very nice peach Evan Williams here.
There we go, Zane. Good job. I'm taking the last swig of my whiskey here. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Maple syrup in your whiskey instead of simple syrup is so good. Yeah, highly recommend.
Oh yeah.
Hannah says, "Believe me, no one complains about Texas summer more than me." Yeah, that's I can vouch for that. Matt Carter says, "Montana, you just might survive the floods." Yeah, those floods. Yeah, those terrible, terrible floods that are supposed to come. Rising sea levels, all that. All right. Alden's not back, which is stupid. So we're going to
go. When that mega volcano goes off, you're at the epicenter.
I'm where I should be for sure.
Funny story about the Yellowstone megavolcano is that I watched a documentary about it on like the Discovery Channel or something when I was in 3rd grade, and then I like couldn't sleep the entire night after I watched it and was like talking my ear off to my parents about, oh no, there's a super volcano that might erupt at any time. I'm so scared.
That really panned
and then
out
you discover that a third of the planet is a super volcano.
And then he just lived another 20 years and realized, oh, it's not going off.
Right, yeah.
All right, Alden, we saved this story because it's a conspiracy thing. So we were waiting until you got back. All right, there we go.
Did you take the COVID vaccine? What do you think? I think no. I took one of them, innit? No.
Do you regret taking it?
No, yeah, I do.
3 countries in the world refused to let the vaccines come in.
Haiti, Burundi, and
Tanzania.
Tanzania. All those presidents were killed.
Jesus.
Do you know what the thing is?
Holy
And-
shit! I didn't know that.
So that is actually true. I had to do some research.
I was
to
going to say I need
confirm
to vet that, but
here, I will show you. There's one. Tanzania's COVID-denying president dies age 61. Every single one of these deaths, two of the three were considered heart attacks. And one of them was considered an assassination. This one was the one who was assassinated.
one was officially assassinated.
Now, is this the guy? I might be confusing the countries, but one of the guys was an actual biologist, and
let's see.
And he was like, "I'm not doing this crap because I tested a papaya and a goat, and they both tested positive for COVID. Get your crap out of my country."
I mean, the amount of microbiologists that have died in suspicious ways in recent years is insane, actually.
So let's see if it was Burundi's president. Cardiac arrest at 55. Let's see. I don't know, Stephen. I'd have to read some more about it. But
I mean, 3 dead, even if they're not like even just one of them being assassinated. 3 dead.
So Tanzania, fun fact about Tanzania, it's home to the most rare gemstone on the planet, tanzanite, which I fell in love with while I was in middle school watching the Gemstone Channel, trying to go to sleep late at night. It's beautiful, but they had this really corrupt queen take over the country, and she hoarded all this stuff for herself. And she was, making jewelry and mirrors and plates and stuff out of it. It's way more expensive than diamonds. It's absolutely beautiful gemstone. So you have a huge culture of assassination, corruption already in place in that country. So yeah, there you go. That's kind of, oh my God, look at that! It's so beautiful.
I like this one right here. This gold one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Wow, it's so many different colors.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing. So, an assassinated politician in that country could be because of some of that stuff. I mean, because that's
true. But the fact that there were only 3 countries, that didn't let the vaccine in, and all 3 died in 2020 and 2021.
Yeah,
the odds.
That's suspicious for sure.
Well, and for cardiac reasons, I mean, the mob was doing this stuff in the 30s and the 40s. They can just come up behind you with nicotine and just slap you with a paintbrush, and you just fall out, or just straight up potassium. They can just fling like a paintbrush of potassium on you if you're not wearing a shirt one day, gone.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the potassium do?
It make you have a heart attack if you have too much of it at once.
Really?
Yeah.
It also relieves your cramps. So
I mean,
there's a section, there's a part of time where it feels really good, and then it goes
and then you
really
die
bad really quick.
Okay, yeah, right. Okay. So it's the same as any substance.
Yeah. I don't know. Do we have any more to say about this? It's just very strange.
I'm going to look into this more.
It's really odd, and I'm willing to bet it's the guy. It's the guy in Tanzania. I think it was a biologist, because he was, and it made world news because he was like, this PCR test you're giving me is crap, and because here I'm going to show you something, and then one of his little health ministers comes up on stage and was like, "Hey, this is positive. This is positive." And he says, "See, these are 2 people in my island that got tested. They're both positive." He goes, "But the problem is I didn't tell anybody else in my government. These are not people. I tested a papaya and a goat."
Yeah. And the test came back positive. Yeah.
Get this crap out of my face.
Was it Mac that was just saying the CAA, like the heart attack kind of thing, or whatever? Because I wasn't even going to get into it, but I have heard that the CAA has ways to make it look like it's a heart attack kind of a thing.
Well, and I mean, just straight up nicotine. I mean, that's it. You just get a whole bunch of nicotine, get it on a paintbrush, and just slap somebody with it. Done deal. Can't save them.
Yep. Well, y'all, I completely forgot. We got to do this.
I am not fucking drunk.
19th through blue.
Every pretty girl deserves to go to a ball.
This is everything about it's a clam. I love it.
I gotta be honest with you. I feel like I'm a little bit too drunk to stand up. On Wiedersehen, asshole.
I'm drunk right now.
I can see it again.
Dude, I love every clip in that.
I wish the Frank the Tank had the line, I like you, man. But
Yeah.
you're crazy.
I can only show so many seconds of each.
No, I
clip,
get it.
Otherwise, we get a strike.
It'll get
So that was the limit. So, that's what it is.
It's a tease. It just makes you want to watch it.
But this will once again be very interesting to me, Steven, and Alden, and Zane will repel it with all his might. So here we go.
Really?
Have Challenger astronaut Judith Resnick, and
Oh.
also Judith Resnick, Yale law professor. Michael J. Smith, the pilot of the Challenger astronaut, and also professor at University of Wisconsin, now retired, Michael J. Smith. Commander Dick Scobie, who is now president of Cows and Trees. Now, if you'll notice, they all have the exact same faces 30 some odd years later, the same exact name, and they are the same age. Now, we all have a doppelganger out there, right? No big deal. But to have the same face, the same age, and the same exact name is extremely rare. So rare, I could only find one case in the last 120 years. And we're supposed to believe that 3 people from one spaceflight have exact lookalikes that have the same age and same exact names. This, ladies and gentlemen, is beyond statistically impossible. But the ask is that Ms. Pritchett, who knows very well about questioning science, whether it be COVID or fluoride, I'm just asking you all to question the science here. Your Goodson and Pritchett, your district covers the Kennedy Space Center. This launched from the Kennedy Space Center. You have the ability to help me in sounding the alarm and asking the federal government for help. If this is contained in your area, I should be able to at least address something that happened here. Don't you agree?
That's not within the jurisdiction or authority of the county commission.
Thank you very much.
Will you let me finish for at least 10
No,
seconds?
sir, you're finished. Thank you.
Thank you for taking away my freedom of speech today in here.
I did not take away your freedom of speech.
Yes, you did.
I don't want to hear it from you
Just
people
because this
down
is an
here.
uncomfortable
Stop.
topic?
Officers, please remove this man from the room.
We want to be free to do what we want to do. Yeah.
What a
we want to
perfect
get loaded.
answer.
Yeah. And we want to have a good time.
This guy's a clown.
Disagree. Hero.
Yes.
Hero. Yes. Oh man, y'all, it is wild that there are 4 people who are the exact same age that those astronauts would have been, who look exact same, who have the exact same name. 4.
Did you verify this? The names and the ages?
Oh yeah.
and
No.
the-
Yes. 100%.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, this one I was reading this in. Did Zach post this? I think Zach posted this.
Yeah, Zach posted this.
This one was actually new to me. I had not heard of this, so I still needed to look into it before I signed off on it or anything. But
yeah, it's a very interesting conspiracy as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I mean, just keep in mind the Mandela effect. That word exists because people were convinced the man died.
dude, that was me. I fucking was like I thought I learned in school that he died in prison. Yeah, yeah. I was like, oh, Mandela, the guy that died in prison, he was imprisoned with blah, 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 his beliefs, his principles. He died as this tragic story. And then everyone's like, no, what are you talking about? He got out and he did his thing. I'm like, wait, what? This is before I even heard about the effect, the whatever, I was just so taken aback by this. I was like, I guess I'm just fucking I thought I dreamed that whole thing. I don't know. It was crazy. It was weird.
Yep.
The Fruit of the Loom underwear tag is the other fucking one that I'm like, I fucking know I saw that goddamn thing.
We've talked about this on the show before.
Well,
and I gave my theory as to why everybody thinks there's a cornucopia, but there's actually not. But
you weren't alive then, so
it's
we
a
don't care what
plenty.
your theory
That's why.
is.
No, there was a cornucopia. I would literally bet my life on it.
I
had Fruit of the Loom growing up.
I'm not so proud of my life. I'll put my life on the line too. Let's do it. Let's just bet my life.
Well, I'm very afraid that I would have to become the host of the show in that case.
All right, I changed my bet to Alden's life and not mine.
We'll both bet my life. That's fine. Yeah.
Well, and before we did this, some quack was talking about tar balls washing up on the beach in Oregon. Has me worried the plates are moving.
Tar balls, oh yeah.
Those tar balls could be circulated from Gulf of Mexico, going up to the Atlantic, coming around finally from the Deepwater Horizon spill. Because keep in mind, that was BP's solution to the spill was they sprayed something called Corexit. That was the I'm dead serious. That was the name of the chemical, Corexit.
Oh, Jesus.
That's what created all those tar balls. So it could be something from that just making its way up to Oregon.
Just still moving around.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would be. Are you talking about the Gulf spill from years ago?
Yeah.
2010, 2011.
Deepwater Horizon? Yeah.
You don't think those would have landed somewhere by now?
I don't know.
Well, apparently they're landing in Oregon 12 years later, 13 years later.
Yeah, there's some plastic floating around in the middle of the ocean. You know?
I threw a message in a bottle out in the ocean when I was 12. And maybe it's still out there. You know, I don't know.
It's not. It's not.
there's a beach in France that it has Garfield telephones washing up on shore every so often from a ship that crashed in the late 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or gold doubloons when there's a hurricane off of Florida or something.
Yeah,
my grandma found one.
All right, final thing to talk about. This is one that I wanted to talk about last week, but we ran out of time. Here,
it's a finite resource time.
Yeah, here we go.
Well, we don't mess with anything in terms of the term victim. We just change offender to justice impacted individual. We're adding the Department of Corrections, adding Human Services, adding Sangamon and Cook County Adult Probation, and 2 members who've experienced the ARI system as offenders or justice impacted individual.
It might seem like a small thing. I mean, obviously changing a term can have a positive or negative impact when we do that. But I would say that over and over again, we keep changing the names for how we are referring to those who have entered into criminal activity. And each time we make that change, each agency has to make that change on every one of their documents. So right now in the Department of Corrections, there's multiple changes that have been made, and it's costing thousands and thousands of dollars just to do a name change. So I would ask, why is it
Control H
to make the name change?
Easy.
Even if the rest of the bill was okay, which I don't think that it is, but even if the rest of it was okay, the name changes may seem like a small thing, but it costs thousands and thousands of dollars to do that.
So they're trying to change the term criminal to justice impacted individual.
It sounds
does
like
does that mean if Trump gets reelected, he'll be our first justice impacted president?
Yes,
officially.
That is exactly correct.
Yeah. God, that's so
Department of Impact.
You mean?
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, I just get this image of like this old hippie grandma, that has this multicolored shawl, and she's burning candles instead of using lamps, and she smells like patchouli, and she's got like 7 dogs, and she's high all the time, and she's like, that nice justice impacted man that cuts my grass. It's just.
Yeah, Brian says 1984 just got the year wrong.
Yeah,
you're correct. That is crazy. Justice impacted individual takes all of the blame off of the individual who committed the crime and puts it on the justice system and the rest of society. It's like, what? The person committed the crime. They're freaking criminal. They're freaking criminal.
Hold up though, because let's say your only crime is you sold a pound of weed to another consenting adult.
You're still criminal.
Well, I'm sure the fact that you're being referred to as a justice impacted individual
really helps their
helping
sentence.
you when you're
Yeah.
Look, whether
Zane's
whether
making
or not,
a point that I was gonna honestly make.
Well, whether or not I think they should be a criminal means nothing.
I agree. Go ahead.
Those two things aren't equitable. Like they are a criminal according to the law. Okay, so let's stick with definitions that make
I agree.
sense. Yeah,
I agree with everybody. I'm just like,
oh great, way to walk that fence. Way to just hug the center of that fence all day.
No, I agree.
Why do we have to redefine everything? Because what was it? Was it Merriam-Webster that just redefined like 1,200 words this year?
Yeah.
Like
they're all
vaccine?
dumb.
Was vaccine redefined?
And there's
We're
and there's
so
yeah,
good
exactly.
at
Lettuce.
And there's new
See
words
lettuce.
that were and there's new words that were entered in.
Tomatoes. Vaccine.
Alden's the best. That's the best one. Vaccine. You can now just go look up lettuce.
See tomatoes. See lettuce. Yeah. Oh my god. But
there is a trend for all these woke dictionaries, because what dictionaries are supposed to do is describe how people are using language.
Right.
But now a lot of them have taken it upon themselves to proscribe how you should use language. And then they can kind of pretend, well, it's in the dictionary, so this is what it means. Well, and it's like, no, this is what you decided that it now means 5 minutes ago, even though nobody asked you to do that.
Urban Dictionary, yeah. And in this case, it's government jargon that you're costing money and causing headaches, and like what are you trying to do with this at this point? And I agree that like in Steven's case, like there are a lot of people that are in jail that I feel like shouldn't be. But are we going to go through the headache of calling them anything other than criminals, even though I feel like they shouldn't be criminals?
Yeah, that's irrelevant because justice impacts individuals would also apply to murderers and rapists
who are, whether they did murder or were found guilty even though they were innocent. Like the jargon doesn't fucking change that, and that's still going to be a thing. I don't know. Yeah. I agree. I feel like changing the word is stupid.
Quack says dictionary should be 4 inches thick and contain lithographs. You're so correct.
Yeah,
that is so good.
Are you a justice impacted individual that drank the water at Camp Lejeune while being imprisoned? You might be in the conversation.
All right, y'all. That's going to be it for our stories for the night. We're going to get into there's 4 funny things, and then we're going to get out of here. Thank y'all so much for sticking around for 2 hours and 41 minutes.
This is a long one, man. Yeah.
This is the longest one we've done. It's because it's still daylight here, y'all. The sun is still up in Montana.
Dude, I don't miss that about being in Washington, like at the Canadian border, where like in the summer it's light until 11. I
love it.
I miss it.
You love it? I love it.
You're a psycho. You're the reverse vampire.
It's the best.
So it's not the best in the winter.
Oh no, but I can live with that. Go to Peaceful Sea Network, peacefulsea.network, to learn more about our show. You can buy some merch, peacefulsea.network. You can watch the show there. We suggest watching the show on Rumble. That is our primary outlet.
Is that our official home now?
Well, we're now banned on YouTube.
Well,
are we really?
Look at the bottom right-hand corner of Rumble. I mean, after talking about vaccines for 30 minutes today, yeah, we're screwed.
We're off of YouTube for real?
I guarantee you we will have another strike by tomorrow.
If it didn't just happen tonight, I'll give you $5.
Yep. No, 100%. You're going to be correct about that.
I will bet Alden's life that we are now kicked off.
I'm glad my life is just in the pool for betting now.
Oh, I freaking love it. So yeah, Brian says he's watching them on
okay,
YouTube
so
currently.
Today, but we recommend to Brian that he has a second option.
Yeah, go over to Twitter, go over to Rumble. Those are going to be our 2 primary channels. Go buy some merch. We got some Threats of Democracy hats. We got some drink.
I'm just upset that we weren't able to air if we get kicked off of YouTube, that we weren't able to air the 9/11 debate on YouTube. I'm just sad about that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because I wanted to go out guns blazing, you know.
We got to set that up for sometime soon. Steven, we got to work with your schedule.
Steven, stop having children, man.
Yeah, stop procreating.
I'm down with that. Look, I swear on your life, I'm down with that idea.
Perfect.
Oh my
God! All
God,
right, y'all. Let's the first thing. If anybody has ever been camping or been around a campfire, this applies to you.
I was camping the other week. Oh,
do you have a special talent?
Yes.
Me. Everywhere I go, the smoke goes into my face around.
I reference this every time I camp. That's one of the best memes ever. Oh my God,
that's so good. That's so good. All right, here's another one.
Real quick, 1, 2, 3. As soon as they
yeah.
Real quick, 1, 2, 3. As soon as they take.
I've seen the like cuttlefish trick. I have not seen this side of it. That's new.
That's so funny. All right, here's another one.
Weird.
Yeah, we're going racial with it tonight. Sorry about that.
All right.
Yeah, I saw a black guy walking into a tanning salon the other day.
Yeah.
That's pretty weird, right? That's pretty odd.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, how are you going to steal a tanning bed?
Oh, such a good twist.
Oh,
Such
man.
a good twist.
That's comedy, dude. That's just good.
That's so good. Oh my gosh. And then here we go.
Guys, can you try to help me explain to my buddy how only the goofball beta cucks got vaccinated? Like, can you guys back me up on this one? Or... Why not? All you dorks got vaccinated? Yeah. How many times, bud? You're a dork. How about you? What about you, bud? That's perfect English, you racist. Don't be racist. You're confused.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We're gone. YouTube here.
Only beta cucks have been
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Those are good,
so
man.
good. Yeah, those are great. All right, y'all. Do we have anything else we need to get out there before the end of the show, or are we good?
I mean,
Libertarian Party Fit Coweta, June 15th at noon, Old Chicago in Sharpsburg. I know it's outdated, but please find us on Facebook. Let us know if they don't do reservations. So if a lot of people are coming,
I don't
trying
know.
to get together. This is our last meeting before we're going to be the 4th of July parade. I think Chase Oliver's campaign is going to be with us. So, if you want to come hang out and talk for or against, or just hang out with us, just, let us know. Find us on Facebook.
What does
right.
Some Quack prefer over Rumble?
Yeah, some quite.
Curious.
Do you have, besides YouTube, is there something you would prefer us be on? Because we're on Odyssey, we're on
Odyssey,
Twitter,
Rumble, Twitter,
Facebook. We'll get banned on Facebook eventually, but like Twitter and Rumble seems to be pretty good. Odyssey, I can't see comments on Odyssey. That's the only thing.
Oh, that's right.
As soon as we switch to OBS, I'll be able to integrate Odyssey comments, but I can't.
Old ball sacks? What's OBS?
Some Quack says Rumble is a good second.
That was
best
really
interface.
quick, Alden. Good
Yeah,
job.
All right, we're going to end on old ball sacks. That was
Old
great.
ball sacks.
All right, y'all. Make sure you tune in next week for more Liberty Libations. Tune into the Free Georgia podcast every Monday at 8 p.m. and Wrexham Texan every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.